Welcome everybody, this is Discount Gamer. I am John Dilworth, aka Iron Business 01. I have my co-hosts here.
What's up, guys? Pop and Locker, Jay Champion, what's up?
How's it going, guys? Xavier Keys, aka Brolic Blaxican.
That's never going to get old.
Oh man, we have to do that every time?
Every single time. I got you to know.
The first time my wife listened to our first episode, she laughed hysterically at that.
It's a sweet gamer tag. I mean, like, I get shit for it every now and then. Like, well, you're really gonna go with the race thing? Yeah, I am.
They let me.
Like, I got that gamer tag at a time when they just didn't care. Because roughly the same amount of time I got, like, my friend who got added, who his gamer tag was Meat Strokes 37.
Oh my goodness.
And then they asked him to change it politely, but he put M33T strokes 37.
So it still works.
We're still here.
We're still here. What system was that on?
Xbox.
Oh,
and
yeah.
shout out to Microsoft for not giving it down a little bit, right?
Let
it through.
It.
Yeah.
He's just like, fuck it.
Because you know at that point, like whoever it is that goes through and checks the tag saw that was just like, you know what, I'm just fuck it, just go.
Let it
have
run.
fun. Yeah, because I know there for a while they were cracking down on that really hard. Like they were giving people the free chance to change their tag.
It's because the algorithm was like fucked up, and people were getting away with it by putting letters instead of numbers, putting X's instead of there.
Oh yeah,
it was like a weird thing, and they were like, all right, now we got to get guys to go in through manually and look at the situation so we can fix the algorithm for next year.
Well, yeah, because people were exploiting the alphanumeric characters and
yeah, and it always happens at the end of the fiscal year over in October when everybody's going to be started buying shit for Thanksgiving. The same reason that fucking Shit of Duty comes out with new games.
Oh, Shit of Duty, really?
Which the new one is like making headlines.
Yes,
what's wrong with it though? Like,
well, there's nothing wrong with it, but
boots on the ground. We got what we wanted.
The
boots on the ground.
Thing we talked about last week. They announced it.
Yeah, but now like it is actually confirmed that there is not going to be a story.
That's fine.
Like, in place of the story, they're putting in the Battle Royale aspect of it.
That's fine. You know why? Because they're realizing that, hey, here's my thing, right? Here's my thing that nobody realizes, right? That when people play these games and we install them into our PlayStations, that Sony and these companies collect data on it.
Oh, yeah.
And they realize that, hey, campaign has gone down in the past 5 years by 57%. Why are we still putting money in this when it's a dead
I don't know if you guys saw
version of
this.
our game?
Last week, Bethesda released this video where, they were playing some of their greatest hits in terms of their trailers, and they were saying that gamers are killing the single-player industry. To please, when these games come out, show your support. Fallout 4, Elder Scrolls.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're talking about, single-player games are no longer the mode of making money anymore.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's very debatable. Well, okay.
I do, but I don't, because we live in a time where esports and massive multiplayer games are the dominant.
They rule.
Now granted, I have to give it to EA. They have gone above and beyond and made some of the greatest campaign story modes ever.
Oh, they've
because
some very harsh criticism lately.
They have, and for good reason. But look at
Star Wars. Sorry.
I actually did like that game. Microtransactions, no.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But look at what was it, Black Ops 3 or something like that. Like they brought in Kevin Spacey to play a role. And I mean
this was before the scandal. I'll have you know. Let's don't jump on.
Yeah, very, very true.
Please, Kevin Spacey, don't jump on me.
Yeah.
Episode 1, don't sue us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which I thought was such an appropriate title. And one of my best friends back home in San Antonio was like, you don't have to worry about anybody suing you guys. You're not charging for this or
not anymore.
Calling
we don't
anybody
have to
out
worry about
specifically
it.
or anything like that. And I had to explain, it's not a matter of us actually worrying, well, theoretically, about anybody suing us, but we said it like 15, 20 times during the episode, so I was like, fuck it, that's our title.
Look, man, I don't ride horses. I like my ass covered.
All right, a little bit, like that.
All right.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. It's different.
Go ahead.
I'll give you that.
Use it at home. All right, so what are we talking about this week?
This week we are talking about Skyforge.
Skyforge. MMORPGs.
Yes.
Yes.
Massive multiplayer online role-playing games.
Ooh, that's a mouthful.
So, before the show, we like to come on. We like to have our little pre-game chat. What stuff we're going to talk about. Last week when we were reviewing Paladins, it was pretty good consensus overall.
Oh, yeah.
Decent enough game, but this one did bring a little bit of division across the board.
Fantastic game. Originally released July 16th of 2015. It is categorized as an MMORPG made by Obsidian, who made fantastic games such as Fallout New Vegas, South Park: The Stick of Truth,
Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords.
which was so
Well,
fun.
anybody that knows anything about Star Wars knows that Knights of the Old Republic was probably...
One of the best games of all time.
And we very easily had the chance to... Well, while we were bringing back Battlefront 2, can we just get a remastered...
Yes.
or a remastered Force Unleashed?
Oh, fuck yeah. With Star Killer?
I'm not picky.
Oh, bring that shit back in 4K, 60 frames a second.
Yeah.
I want to watch him bring down that fucking destroyer with his hands.
You know what? It's now's the time to do it. Nerd things are hot right now. We got
Well,
is it Solo coming out this month?
Yeah, Solo's getting ready to
Obsidian
drop.
helped, by the way, guys. Obsidian helped. It was made by Aldos, but Obsidian
okay.
helped.
Okay.
But
I'm just thinking, like,
they
Obsidian
pushed-
put out some great...
yeah, they
great
pushed
looking
out.
games.
They
They
did.
pushed out more of the information for the game, though.
Now, just like talking about Obsidian, like the best example I had with Obsidian was Fallout New Vegas. I brought that one up. Was to Fallout fans was obviously a difference between Fallout 3, which was Bethesda, Fallout 4, which was also Bethesda, but Fallout New Vegas is widely regarded as one of the better Fallout games. It was very deep story. It wasn't so much about what's going on in the vaults, but it was just everything Fallout fans loved,
I can see that.
except Karma. Please stop doing that. We didn't like it. Some people do, some people don't. I don't, because I keep doing bad shit, and I don't like the rewards I get
Well,
for
when
it.
you go in and you take somebody's fucking spoons and forks and then kill them, that's not a good thing to do.
Oh no, it's because I always lose health because I'm an idiot and I perk wrong, and I get cannibalism to try to fix that, and that will destroy your karma.
And you're wondering why, in no situation ever has cannibalism been considered a good thing.
Ever.
I guess I'm on trial today.
Ever.
Fallout 4, you can do it, and nobody
Ever.
cares. Dog meat don't care. You lose favor with your companions. but
That's true. That's true.
The dogs are like, I know you ate a dog
Right.
yesterday. I can smell it.
You and that cousin.
no shit. That dog is down to clown. Whatever's clever.
Yeah, I never played New Vegas, but I heard tons and tons and tons of just fascinating things about it.
This is a good game. Definitely a good game. It really adds to the story. And I think it's also going to help out if they try to expand further, because it talked more about what's going on the Western front of the apocalypse rather than what's going on centrally. So
Okay.
They also made Neverwinter?
Oh, Neverwinter.
Huh. Armored Warfare? Never heard of that one.
That's another free-to-play game
I was
that,
about to say.
that we'll
sounds
get
like one.
into.
Pillars of Eternity.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
Question
We
marks
gotta-
across the table.
Yeah, we gotta. Looks like we're gonna have to.
Do some research.
Not even some research, just like play around because they have
Yeah.
a lot of stuff we didn't know about.
Talking about Skyforge.
Okay, so Skyforge it takes place in a place called Alien, something like that.
cool. Alien.
Alien, where you are a soldier, you go in to fight a battle, you get fucking raped and pillaged.
I'm gonna just give you the first bit of dialogue. Hey guys, watch out. Be careful. You're not immortal out there. Guess what your class of people are called when you're playing?
Lo and
the game?
behold, you actually are. But you don't find out until you are killed, dragged off by this little ratkin looking... Actually, I think they're called ratkins, aren't they? Or something like
I
that.
think they're called like birds.
Birds, yes.
Birds.
Birds.
And
Birds.
so when you play the game a little bit more, they go into that. Some guys like birds, vords, birds. I don't call them rat people. And there's like a guy that comments on how confusing this is.
But yeah, they actually take you and throw your body into a...
Mad disrespectful with your corpse too.
Oh yeah, they throw you into a pile of corpse. And then you wake up and on you go before you find out that you are actually immortal. And then you find out that there's actually this entire society of, immortal people, and they become modern day gods, for lack of a better term, in which case you have to...
Yes, we will get into the religious aspects of this pretty soon.
I'm sure we will. But you're basically on your path to finding out what kind of god you are going to turn out to be, and basically just making your name. You do have to acquire followers and all, for lack of a better term, the religious aspects of being what is a deity.
And we'll definitely try to break these in as they come, because, like, as far as this is a decently enough confusing game to get into.
It is.
And I'm sorry I had to start with a criticism.
Let's start early.
Let's go
confusing.
Let's go linear to how you play the game, and then we'll try to break it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so starting off at graphics. Personally, I thought the graphics were phenomenal. You know, for a game that came out in 2015.
Yes, I will definitely say this. So this game, when looking at the style, it was comparable to early looks at Fallout 4, which is a very good-looking game.
I can see that.
This game, it's got some pretty good stuff going on it graphically. You know, there's a level on there where it starts
it uses
raining.
the Unreal Engine, doesn't it?
You're gonna have to fact check me on that one, but I believe so.
I think so.
So, there's a level pretty early on in the game where it has rain and stuff like that, and the weather look to it. You know, you got puddles, you got reflection, you got
the sheen off of your character
Yes.
and surfaces.
This is a very good-looking game while you're playing it. I have to fault this game because I've had trouble during dialogue sequences.
That's
because
true.
it zooms in a little bit. You can see,
Yeah,
you
that,
can
that,
see
that
everything.
well, we're just talking like the overall graphical.
Oh yeah,
appearance.
overall, pretty
I
solid
was
game.
I was blown away. I mean, and even taking that as far as, you know, your character avatar. You know, you have some games where you spend all this time creating your character. You know, like we talked about last week on our little pre-huddle. Games like Monster Hunter, where you spend this time making the character that you want to be virtually, and then you actually get in game and you find out that quality has diminished a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas in this game,
It does not.
It
do that.
doesn't.
It does not diminish from one look to the other.
You know,
Now,
and-
you're getting a little bit more, I think, glossy look when it comes to, like, in the actual gameplay. You know, your armor reflects a little bit better. You get
Yeah.
these very intense points of graphics in
Yeah,
there.
it's definitely two different versions of the same information that they're giving you for cutscenes versus live action.
oh yeah,
I would have to agree
yeah,
on that, too. You
yeah,
can see that
absolutely.
definitely.
Because I mean, even when it's in-game cutscenes, you definitely notice that the resolution is much
And,
higher. You know,
for obvious reasons.
Well, yeah,
They want to show
yeah.
off a little bit.
Flex on.
Flex
yeah,
on
flex
them.
on. But you know, just coming back to things like the weather patterns. Like right now, if you go into whatever the main base is called, I think it's like the observatory or something like that.
I think so, yeah.
They're running an event where it's actually snowing in there, close to the map, and it's really cool. You know, the lighting effects, the weather effects are just really, really cool. Next, I would have to say probably NPCs. You know, most games are either very male dominant or very female dominant based on the
Yes.
roles, but this one,
It's very feminist forward.
it is.
A lot of the stronger idols in this specific game, very female dominated. So
Oh, yeah.
when you start out, you're going to get an option to pick your classes, and those
Yep.
classes are Paladin, Cryomancer, and
Lightbearer.
Lightbearer. So you find out if you play as Paladin for more than 2 seconds that there are Paladins that are way stronger than you, and the
yeah.
strongest Paladin, like the strongest of
Iona.
like the foot soldiers, is a woman.
Yeah.
It's very female centric, and I think
And she is a
kind of,
total badass.
you kind of miss that in a lot of games lately, don't you?
Yeah, and it's.
And
I do know that there are people that are going to uproar about that because you will have that occasional person where it's like, oh, it's got to do with war, it should be male based, blah blah blah.
Well,
I think that's bullshit.
The,
But
the word female means from male. I mean, female.
well, yeah,
I mean,
but
So-
but for me at least, it was really cool to see.
male.
Like
Come on,
the
man.
first major quote unquote boss fight is that you find out that there's been some wrongdoings and some fuckery is afoot, and you follow the trails and you play Scooby-Doo, and you initially get temporarily recruited by Iona or however they say her name, which is the head paladin god or
Yeah.
goddess. And there's another god who has decided to revolt against the rest of Aelion. So you have to follow her and fight side by side with her, and in conjunction, which is really interesting, to defeat this male god.
yeah,
But not only does it bring, like, after the fight, like, she actually shows emotion, and, it's in her voiceover, it's in her character render, which was really interesting to see, just, like, you can see the fatigue on the character.
yeah.
But yeah, like, the first male character who's a deity that you see, I don't remember his name, is actually the scientist. Like,
Yeah.
he's not on the
Slightly
front lines.
effeminate though.
Yeah.
He's a very pretty guy.
A very pretty
is.
guy.
Quite
No.
dainty.
I think we've had this conversation before when it comes to female representation in video games. Is kind of, an interesting conversation that I heard about Halo's Master Chief, and that you're going to hear this guy, but gone will be the days that you ever think you're actually going to see Master Chief's face.
Oh yeah,
Because
John 117. They tease people with it.
so many people love to play a game and imagine themselves in that situation, and
Yeah.
I think that kind of reflects in video games a lot because it's a mostly male-dominated aspect. Guys
It
play
is.
video games
It
and
is.
they want to feel like their guy is in the fight.
It's funny because that's like one of the reasons I usually play the female characters in fighting games. Like,
Yeah.
my girl mentions it all the time. She's like, "Hey, like, why? Like, the girl comes out and you have to play the character," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
people are always like, oh, there's no way she's gonna be good in the game and this and that." And I'm like, "Oh, watch, I'm gonna
Bet
make her
me.
look good, and she's gonna whip your ass looking good." Like,
Yeah.
And this is the same
Good.
reason that last week I said that I pick Lex. This is why when I play Mortal Kombat, I play as Jax. I love to play a character that I feel represents me, and I will more often than not pick a person of color.
Yeah.
I want to feel like that my people.
oh,
I-
Jax with the ground pound.
But
Yes.
believe it or not, I was like that for a really long time. Like, playing games where you can make your own character. Like, I remember spending an obscene amount of time making a character that looked like me. But the older I get, especially in fighting games, I do tend to sway more towards female characters. Not necessarily because I'm one of those where it's like, oh, like there's a guy that I played with online a while back, and I asked him why he played a female character in Monster Hunter, and he's like, well, if I'm gonna stare at the back of my character for 300 plus hours, I might as well be looking at a female,
Right.
Might as well be pretty,
right?
Aesthetic looking.
But believe it or not, like, while yes, I can see that as a valid reason for some people.
Some
I-
games give you perks for playing
Well,
as a
yeah,
female.
not only that, but I've always just liked playing female characters.
Yeah.
Seeing a strong female character,
And-
I think is really fucking cool.
I think that's definitely an aspect a lot of young guys today, or in your case,
My mom was a single mom, so
Yeah.
like I think that
Yeah,
guys
I
today,
just like
whether you can believe it
make
or
them
not,
strong.
guys today love to see a strong
Yes.
female role model. We will all say, like, my mom was a personal idol for me, and I'd like to feel that women are being represented the way that I see them.
Yeah.
Powerful,
As well.
independent.
Well, yeah, especially when it's playing a character of your creation.
Yeah.
And it's a female character. There's been a couple of games where they have a PvE and a PvP, and I'll jump over to PvP and go at it, and just to know that your female character just kicked the absolute shit out of this other male character. It's kind of that feeling like,
Oh, hell yeah,
Yeah.
they're doing it too.
yeah.
In terms of games that give you perks for it, I'm really trying to steer away from it, but I got to bring it up because this is the game I had in mind. Fallout 4, where if you pick
Such a good game.
a male character, you have the option of getting the perk Lady Killer, where you do 50% more damage.
That's right.
Just to start off with.
That's
if
right.
you were a man and shoot women, definitely don't know how I feel about.
Oh my
You
goodness!
get more points
Yeah.
for beating
And,
women up.
and it actually describes it that way too.
Yeah. It calls you Lady Killer, get 50% more damage for attacking women. But on the other side of that, if you are a woman, you get the perk Black Widow, where it's
Yeah.
the exact opposite. You're a woman, you're beating down dudes
Yep.
for justice.
Yeah,
For
for
justice.
justice, yes.
Oh my goodness.
Which is kind of a broken perk because
There's way more dudes out on the playing field.
easily because
And that's why a lot of really good like Fallout players that like to stream, they'll show you like, oh hell yeah, I'll play as a woman because I don't want to fucking lose no more. This sucks.
yeah, and I mean like when you go into mobs,
There's a lot of dudes.
well yeah, but even mobs that have a female character, you don't run into until like halfway to later parts of the game.
And your major characters that like your bosses that you gotta fight, they're all dudes.
Oh yeah,
Or robots, but I mean,
oh yeah, but
robot dudes sometimes.
dudes for the sake.
But yeah, it's more beneficial. You get more bang for your buck when you get a perk that works widely across the map.
Phrasing, but yeah. So going back to this, we've covered graphics, basically overall, I guess.
What
gender
about
split.
like the premiums? There's a freemium part of the game, and then there's the premium part of the game. That's something.
There is, and that's one of the biggest pushes of our show is, surviving games in a freemium sort of atmosphere, and I think the game does just a fantastic job at that.
Yeah.
Because it's not like other games where like it just kind of force feeds it to you, and you just like have to find your way through it. Like the game, unless you go out looking for specific things, doesn't say, "Oh, you have to spend real money for this."
It's one of those things like if you're really dying for this character skin, or if you're really dying for this like very specific thing, go for it. Pull out your wallet, get to warrioring.
Stop taking our money.
Yeah, but at the same time,
Me, I'm poor.
at the same time, while there are paid aspects of this game, it doesn't necessarily, at least not in my opinion, does it fall under the wallet warrior category.
No, because it's not.
It's not pay to
It's not
win,
heavily
though.
perked. Or
Yeah,
like,
it's
you don't
not
get
pay to
strong
win.
buffs.
No, yeah, they have some premium items that give you like 10% damage buff. Like I was seeing some crazy shit when I was looking online.
It's not like beating you over the head with it, right?
but at the same time, most, I'm not going to say all, because there are some like costumes and very few perks that I saw, but a lot of it doesn't say, if you want this perk, you can only get it spending real money. Mm-hmm. Whereas everything that I saw was you can either spend real money and get it now, or you can play for an hour and get it for
That's
free.
a really good point. I think there's a nice balancing here that there's nothing that's just so far out of reach. If you really want to grind, if you really want to do it, yeah, go for it. You can get your stuff. That's cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Some stuff it definitely makes it a lot easier for if you're not the grinding type of player, though.
Yeah, like the classes.
Yeah.
Not at
And
all.
Like there's.
So I don't like these games.
Jay and I had this conversation right before we started the show. Was some games you just want to turn on and turn your brain off.
Oh
Yeah.
man, you just want to play and
this
hurt
definitely
somebody,
is not
piss somebody
one of those
off.
games.
This is kind of a brainy game. There's a lot of story. Now it's a good story. There's a lot that goes into it, but be prepared for information by Firehose at first.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Like I think the first hour, I think I ran like one. I don't even know what those things are called. Like one match, one game.
The quests.
Oh yeah,
Quest.
one campaign match.
I did
Yeah.
one. Okay, I did one in the hour because I was so lost as to what was going on. I was
That's-
just looking for stuff. I'm like,
that's the
okay,
other
what's
thing,
the customize it? No
And
idea.
X, you and I actually talked about that. Is there's a pretty steep learning curve right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Because you get in, and I mean it opens you with this fantastic cinematic, this great story opening, and then it just kind of opens the floodgates, and here's all these menu options and all these map options and
No,
PvP, PvE.
The best way I could describe this game is if you have an Android and somebody says, "Take my iPhone and start using it," that's what it's going to feel like. It is difficult at first, and you're going to be very rocky mapping yourself around this thing. But once you get used to it, it's not too bad.
Once you get used to it, it moves pretty smooth.
Yeah.
But that initial jump from Go is pretty confusing at first. It really is, because not including the faction part in the menus, I want to say that there's like 12 different menu options.
So when you get
Something
into
like
it, there's I don't know, 12. So there's like probably 7 to 8 main categories of things, and within those things, there's probably
two to five
like subcategories, and within those subcategories, there are
subcategories,
more categories.
Yeah,
it's a oh man, it feels like a cell phone game, like a really.
It's a maze to get through sometimes.
Yeah, because like your skills, okay, you pick your class. Well, then you go into your class, and then you have PvE skills, PvP skills, your companion skills that go in line with your skills. I mean, it just
and
all this, and then you have the runes, and
all in all, I'd probably have to say this is a game of inches, not a game of miles.
Yeah.
Every time you get something, it adds 1 to 2% for your character. There's never been something that it just completely revolutionizes the game. Everything is going to be overlapping itself. I've got this shield that gives me. Next thing I'm going to do is this sword, and then I'm kind of like crawling my way across growing strength.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. The other thing, and again, you and I talked about it, is the aspect of might.
Yes.
So every every stage or campaign level or what have you is, it's categorized as, okay, so in order to successfully and comfortably play and survive this level, you need to be like a level 21. Cool. Well, playing, you're gonna more or less match that level. But the part that they don't explain is once you get into getting followers, researching things, stuff like that, to build that might. I mean, in 10 minutes, you can go from a level 21 stat to a level 37 stat, and all you're doing is spending in-game credits that you get by playing the game anyways.
And if you don't mind, let's go ahead and, for the audience out there, kind of try to break down this sort of like weird, confusing thing. Try to help them out. What do you think is something they really have to start with when it comes to playing the game?
If we're starting bare bones, just turning the game on, find a class that's comfortable with them. You start off, like we said, you start off with the Cryomancer, which is a very long-range, damage-heavy, area of effect magic user.
Yeah. I've been playing as Paladin, which is your up-close and personal guy. You get a lot of shield, you got a lot of attack. But when it comes to the range, you're going to be sucking up stuff trying to shoot lightning at people.
Yeah, and then you have your Lightbearer, which is kind of
the mercy of the game.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Kind of your Final Fantasy white mage.
Yeah.
They can do damage. They can heal. Like, it's just kind of that gumball effect. Like, you don't know what you're going to get. Find a class that you're comfortable with first. Play through, get some time in, then you'll open your cathedral shortly after.
And here it is.
And just pump as much in-game money as you can get into that, because that's going to get you your followers. And this is
where it gets into the religious aspect
yeah,
of the game.
Very much, because
So,
this is very...
Your immortal is revered as this deity.
As a god.
Yeah, exactly. So you're not only concerned with yourself and what other immortals are doing, because the other immortals are the other player characters.
Yeah.
There's also NPCs that can aid you with certain stuff, and that comes along to how many missions do you do, how powerful is your character. This very religious aspect of a game that you don't really see in a lot of other games, where it's kind of like you're explaining Greek and Roman mythology to somebody, that your character is not the end-all be-all of something, but is spiritually touched. And it's kind of that...
But with that respect in mind, I like the fact that it uses...
Can I leap here?
Yeah.
I can? Oh, that's even better.
I like how it uses more or less the religious hierarchy. In terms of, this equals this equals this equals this.
Yeah.
Whereas not throwing a religious aspect in your face. Like, that needs to be made very clear. It's fantastic, by the way. Best tequila I've ever had.
It
Delicious, yes.
came in a fancy bottle, and that means it's going to hurt me.
It actually doesn't,
Bro,
surprisingly.
this is delicious. Have you had this?
Yeah.
This is the best.
It's
have some to wear.
Well, yes,
It's
it does.
thin. It's thin as shit, but it's
It
just
does
so sweet.
have a religious aspect to it, but it's
I'm
not
getting turned over here.
religious
I'm
in and
kinda
of
scared.
itself.
It's not like going to church with my mom.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
definitely not that. But I mean, it's based on.
but
you could see
it's
where
Greek
we're coming
Yeah,
mythology. It's
but
definitely
it is one of
mythology.
those where if you want your deity to be stronger, they need followers.
And they
It
do
makes
say that
sense.
outright.
Yeah,
The
they
more
do.
followers you have, the crazier shit you
Yeah.
do. The more people believe in you. The more people believe in you,
Exactly.
the stronger you are.
But you,
With-
I don't know if this is a very specific thing tied to the strength of religion and faith. Or
no,
the-
that's exactly what the game is saying. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way around that. There's
Yeah.
none. I'm sorry.
Okay, true, but like
That's
I
not.
said,
It's not shoving it down your throat.
Exactly.
But
But
it is
kind of
saying
saying
it does-
that
it does say it.
that the more people believe in you, the stronger you are. And I think that's what
And-
he's trying to hit on. It's just
and that's the thing.
it's a little scary that it's saying it to your face. Like,
Yeah. Usually,
Yeah.
you don't want your gamers to think too hard.
and this game
We're a
is
bunch
like,
of fucking
hey,
crazies.
listen.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
and not only that,
good,
it's actually a
though.
major mechanic at that.
Exactly. So it's like it's the main
You know,
purpose of the game.
It really is, because if you go in and you start pumping credits into this thing, that equals you getting more followers and worshippers.
Yeah.
Which and once you hit certain milestones, they give you like
I think they kind
like
of
mystery
raise
chests
it
and stuff like
by
that.
using the word follower, because now it sounds like we're doing Twitter. It doesn't sound so bad, you know. When you say follower, it doesn't mean like
doesn't say worshiper.
the devout.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it said worshiper, we definitely have some issues.
We
Yeah.
definitely know.
But
Okay.
hey, I got followers for
I got
days.
followers for days.
And then you have to invest in hashtags.
Oh man.
Oh, by the way, hashtag discount gamers.
Discount
Yeah.
gamers.
Yes.
No, hashtag
Yes,
discount gamers.
Hashtag discount gamers.
Yes.
I am very proud and happy to announce that we are now on pretty much every major podcast streaming service. I think the only one that we're not on is Spotify, because I found out that the only way to get on there is if you're actually monetizing your podcast.
Which means
But-
you guys need to share us.
Yes.
If you don't share us,
Please, we can't get on Spotify if we don't get shares.
if you're listening to this and you're not sharing it tonight, I'm gonna be under your bed.
Oh my god.
You might get somebody that likes that. You might. You're gonna find that one like creepy, rapey guy that. Hey kid, want some candy?
Oh.
We all float down here.
Oh shit! Mama, no. But no, we're on Anchor. We are on iTunes. We're on
Shout out to Apple.
Shoutouts to Apple. We are on Overcast.
Shout out to Anchor for helping us get everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. By the way, if you guys want to make your own podcast, I highly suggest looking into Anchor. In our dealings with them, they have been nothing but fantastic. They've got so many tools. Shout outs to Anchor, definitely add us on that. Going for the tequila.
I don't want to. I just want to know what it's doing.
What is doing? Oh, let me smell it.
It's not bad.
Actually, I like Patron.
It's not bad.
It's
kinda
better
comparable.
than Patron.
It's kind of very Patron doesn't beat you over the head with the smell. Hornitos beats you, puts you in the trunk of the car and drives away.
Oh yeah, and then gets much rapey.
Pulls a Hannah Baker out there.
Oh, spoiler alert!
But back to
if you ain't seen
Did
it
you
yet.
say pulls a head of bake? Hey, you know she's English?
Yes, that is weird. Like half the cast is.
Yo, she's
A
so
lot of-
sexy.
If you were delving under too well.
I thought she was young.
Yeah, she's like 17 in the show, dude.
Yeah, but I thought she was young.
She's too young for you, bro.
what are we talking about?
But she's not young. The girl who plays Hannah Baker, like
hasn't
she's
seen it.
English.
I don't know what movie
Okay.
and or show we're
Okay,
talking
13
about.
Reasons Why. The main
Oh,
girl,
okay,
the girl who
okay.
kills
But
herself, right?
let's not sleep on that too much because that show is dark.
It's dark, but she's fine.
I'm talking
she's
darker
old,
than
bro.
Wesley Snipes.
Oh my goodness,
That's pretty dark.
That's pretty fucking dark.
Darker
Like-
than Wesley Snipes or darker than Wesley Snipes in jail because of his tax evasion?
Darker than Wesley. I was gonna say darker than Wesley Snipes in Demolition Man, who just like for some reason brought about like the end of humanity by just existing.
I don't know. Wesley Snipes was a badass in that movie.
He had blonde hair. That's like the only.
Yeah,
reason.
there was nothing badass about that. That was just weird.
That was the cool thing back in the day. I
Yeah,
assume.
it was.
There was nothing cool about that.
I wasn't in the '80s, so I wouldn't know.
Damn.
Kiss my ass, all right.
Damn, shots of fire.
Shots are definitely fire.
Dude, I was born like a week after Kurt Cobain killed himself, so allegedly.
Allegedly.
There you go. There's a nice memory to have.
Allegedly.
I promise you, I wasn't there.
Bring your
What?
face
I
down.
promise you I wasn't there.
That's a story for another show.
Yeah, from the show.
But no, the game.
So no religion complex. Continue.
yeah, so
you kind of get away
so,
from it. If you think on it too much, you'll definitely see the target.
Yeah, oh yeah.
See it.
But no, you start pumping credits into getting your followers. It does give you items and things like that for hitting certain milestones.
Key lime rum cream. Oh,
It is fantastic.
Look at the
Can I smell it?
the watermelon.
I just want to smell it.
But it definitely turns out to be a very, very major aspect. Because you can actually go from
Careful now.
struggling with a level. Are you okay over there?
Oh my god, what is this? Blue Chain Bay Premium Blend? Key lime rum cream.
It tastes like key lime pie with an aftertaste of graham cracker.
Can I just take a little bit? Can I just
Take it to the head, bitch.
So without.
But
eating
okay,
too
so
much.
yes, so
It's not like the Da Vinci Code out here.
no, it isn't. I told you. Fantastic.
It's like green Skittles in a bottle.
Shut your mouth.
Bro, try this.
The only black people on here. You can't say shit.
Bro, try this. It's so good. Just try it.
It sounds
Just
like
try
he's
it
gonna
straight.
cry.
I am gonna. It's so delicious. I wasn't expecting it. Look at his face. Look at his face. Look at his face.
I think it more accurately tastes like Fruity Pebbles.
It doesn't matter. It's
no.
fantastic.
Yeah, but I'm getting like green Skittles.
It's all there.
Oh my god, it's delicious. Put this down.
With the graham cracker after.
Yo, that's Bill Cosby in a bottle.
Oh.
Why am I always gonna be the one to do this?
Oh my god.
You're just the first one that lands on it. It's like playing a very fucked up game of Monopoly, and you just happen to hit the dice
Oh
right.
my god. He's like, who's rolled doubles 3 times in a row? You gotta
Right?
jail.
Yahtzee, bitch.
Oh my goodness.
But so we keep like straying way away
Yeah,
from
it's
this.
just the alcohol, but okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So you can very quickly go from struggling with a level to pumping credits into followers and just walking through a
is
stage.
that good though? Right? I don't know. I felt like, okay, here's my thing, right? When the couple sieges I played. I mean, it's not sieges. What do you call them? Quests?
Campaigns.
Campaigns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
quest campaign. I don't know what the
Levels.
fuck they're called.
Right, levels. Okay, so the couple I played, I don't really know what I was doing, right? I'm looking at like the character skills and I'm like, okay, so these combination of buttons do this. And
Yeah, this game is very combination based. Like,
Yeah.
you're
World of
definitely
Warcraft, right? Like on
you're
the
definitely
keyboard.
working combinations all the time. So
Yeah.
if you're a paladin, expect to do like on Xbox, it's if you see a group XY, if you see a single person XXY, if you see a group bigger than that XXXY. Like I'm constantly
Very chain-based.
Like I needed this, I needed this, I needed this.
But most gamers will tell you that's how a lot of games work now.
Well, yeah, especially with MMOs.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm not gonna ham it up for it. But if it's a thing that's just really stuck in your mind, you
Yeah.
gotta be conscious of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? The ones I played, I don't think I did anything I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Because
Kind
I
of
was,
just like button mashing.
I was
Well,
pressing
yeah, because
stuff,
it-
and
the-
the
the
people
game-
in front of me knew what the fuck they were doing.
The
right?
game does
And
not
run
give
through.
you a lot of solid
They
instruction.
don't.
No,
They always
it really
tutorial. Give me a tutorial, not a really in depth one. Doesn't have to be really in depth.
No, but
in this situation, be like, boom, there's a group. Do
Hey,
this
you
combination.
know what?
Cool.
We will say it all the time. Gamers hate a too descriptive tutorial.
Yeah.
We want to feel like we want to adventure around a little bit, but this one kind of let the leash go a little bit too
Well, yeah,
far.
because they could have put something in, not increasingly over depth, but something enough to help a player get their feet wet.
Let me,
Yeah.
let me give you an example. Okay, Super Mario Brothers, the very first game, right? They did it the best. You came
You
in.
can only move
You
forward.
can only
Yeah.
move right. You can't move left, so that tells you can move right.
Yeah.
You can. This Goomba is the first Goomba you see, and you
Jump.
either run into it or you jump over it, and it comes back to you, and then you have to kill it. Now you know you can jump on things, and then there's a brick, and then the only brick that you see, you can break bricks, and those bricks disappear, and then you hit the brick, and there's a mushroom. So it tells you everything you need to know about the game in the first 30 seconds of you playing
Yeah.
it. That's the
No.
best type of tutorial, and they need to implement that type.
I think one of the best tutorials for a game like this wide is probably like Pokemon. Pokemon has a great job of like
goodness.
explaining to you what's going on. You could
Shout outs to X, Garlic Black Skin.
you could play a million Pokemon games and you know how to play.
Yeah.
But if this is your first time out the gate, it's gotta run you through at least the bare minimum.
Yeah.
How your bag works, how your Pokemon work, what attacks do what,
Yeah.
how to find out this situation.
How to catch Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yep, it's
And
a
Pokemon does one of the better jobs of limiting how far you're allowed to go. This game does it
I'll
too.
give you that.
This
I'll give
game
you that.
lets you discover your limits, but
See, I
doesn't
disagree.
trap you in it.
I disagree.
Pokemon does.
I disagree because this game, while yes, there are limits, and yes, it will tell you what those limits are.
Oh,
but,
yeah,
but,
like-
but it's not one of those where you are not a high enough level to come in here.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was talking about.
It does it very much in the mode of like
It's
Dark Souls.
suggested you should be this level.
Yeah,
but you don't have to.
But it does it very Dark Souls style, where it's like you want to go to this level?
That's
I'll
up
open
to
the
you.
gate for you.
You grown ass man, go for
But
it.
you're gonna get booty raped for this shit. Like,
I'm talking about.
I just want a little bit of the key lime stuff.
Yeah.
It's so good.
So when I use Pokemon as an example of a tutorial, it's a
Hashtag
child's
Pokemon for life.
game, but
Okay, man.
you shut your mouth. I will be a die-hard fucking.
oh, for those listening at home,
the
please
Charmander.
understand that my keychain, I am head to toe with the Pokemon.
I'm the Pokemon.
I'm down to clown
Down
anytime.
the clown.
But I think this game actually does.
We've had these discussions.
I think this game does a little bit more than we're doing it justice for, because this is a very wide game in terms of character customization. So there's like 10,000 things that you adjust on your character at a given time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of giving you the light overview without trapping you in a tutorial. If it told you every single step of this game, all in a track, you'd be stuck in a tutorial for like an hour.
You would never touch a mission for
No,
the first
you'd
3
throw your
hours.
controller before you even get into the game.
I will say,
What about the first time you go into the situation? Because I hate games that don't go, well, this is what you need to do in this situation. You know what I mean? Like if I'm out there and I get an item for a weapon that I'm gonna need for the second mission.
You just get the fairy from Legend of Zelda. Hey, listen.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
listen.
Abby.
Yeah, that's another great tutorial. Another great, because the first time you're in the situation, it would stop the game.
Hey,
You'd be
listen.
like,
Hey, listen.
Hey, you gotta hold B because it's a lot of people gotta hold B.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Link, press down on the B
Yeah, and you're like,
to release
okay.
the ancient technique.
Sure, and it worked, and you're like, cool, this is what I do. But
Right.
in this game, it was never that issue. And then the people who play it, I feel like they didn't want to help either, because I got a lot of, like, there was a couple of matches where I got people with mics, and I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah,
And I'm like, hey, so what do you guys need me to do? Oh, well, just stay back there. You know what the fuck you're doing.
I'm not tracking entirely toxic community, but this is
No,
not a
but
very front forward.
It's not inviting.
No, it isn't. The chat community here, even in text chat, is very typical hardcore MMO player community.
These guys don't want you to get in their way. They're trying to
Exactly.
get something accomplished.
Most of the people that are going to get on the mic have spent 200-300+ hours in this
Yeah.
game. Like, they know their shit.
And I think gaming today it's kind of got this epidemic of there really is no in between.
There's godness. Yeah, I feel you.
There's kind of this non-toxic community where it's like a bunch of people that genuinely love playing a game, but then there's those people that are really into this game that will fault you to death. For
Well,
not
yeah,
doing it right.
and for
I got
somebody
that a
that's played enough of them, it's very typical in MMOs. MMOs really shine when you're playing with a group of people that you know.
Yeah.
Like, if the three of us were to jump on there, it would play completely different.
Yeah.
Because we know each other, we can work together, we're all around the same level. You know, that's when a game like this really starts to shine. But if you're just running this solo, expect to put a lot of time, a lot of effort,
And I think
picking up your phone to look into things like...
I think we touched on that last week, that when you have a good dedicated group of guys that you play a game with, it makes the experience so much better.
Yeah.
But, for a lot of our gamers out there that are listening to this, especially if it's explicit and whatever, we're all grown-ass men here, all grown men and women. Not all of us have time to jump on the game at the exact same time.
Exactly.
Some of us
That's
are
the
doing
rough
2 or 3
part.
jobs. Some of us have kids out there. It's really hard. So when the community is not inviting, it puts a bad taste in your mouth
It really
about
does.
the game.
It really does.
And I don't expect game developers, or I don't expect companies to sit here and babysit us while we're on the chat. But
No, but at the same time, having them step up to provide certain amenities in a game this massive, because this game really is massive.
Hell yeah.
I've been putting a pretty solid amount of time into this. I think I'm only on the 4th map
yeah.
out of 8 or 9.
Oh, there's a fucking ton.
And each
Yeah, there
map has
is. I don't
a ton of
understand.
those.
It's
No.
like,
And the thing with that is that there's 3 seasons of story.
I'm gonna call it what it is. This game, for being free, that is a fucking ton of
It's
bang for
a-
your butt.
it's a lot. You could play this alone by itself. You could
For
play this for a while.
Yeah,
for
years.
a while. And
Years.
not play anything else. It's
And
so much replay value. I
Yeah.
think that's probably
And
the
at the same
biggest
time,
factor of it.
At that, it's gonna get repetitive if you try to go that way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Within
But-
6
But
months.
you could-
but at the same
If you
time,
like it,
but at the same time,
Love
that's
to
where the
grind
different
shit.
classes can come into play.
Yes, when you need that new revitalization, when you need that breath of fresh air, this game does a great job that some other games are very lacking on.
Yeah.
It gives you the chance to reclass.
Yeah,
No.
at any time, as long as you're not in combat, which that I personally have not seen that in a game since Final Fantasy Tactics on the PlayStation 1.
One of the best games that I remember being class-based was Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 2. But
Oh, yeah.
there is a strict rule about Kingdom Hearts. You pick your class, you a grown ass man now. There's no going back.
Yep.
Your class,
I'm
and
not-
this was back when you had to buy like the game book where it told you like, hey, if you pick sword, 20 levels from now,
You're going to be a badass.
yeah. If
Whereas
you pick
it-
shield, bah, level 5, you get guard. This game allows you to go back, change your class, swap it up,
Yeah,
get fresh with it.
literally at any time. If you get into a mob with a class and you're just not feeling it, as soon as you get out of that class, even if you run away, you can reclass, get back into the fray, and just start tearing shit up. That's easily one of my favorite mechanics about this game.
Yes, I will totally agree with that. But with all good things I have to say about this game,
There's a fair share of negative.
now we all come from different styles of gaming.
Oh yeah, so the negatives are really perspective based.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, very much.
If
so.
you're a very cerebral type of gamer and you really love deep stories, if you really love absorbing all the information in the world, this might be your game. Check it out.
Yeah.
But if you're, if you're like, your regular
If you just
gamer-
want to jump in and fuck shit up,
Yeah.
you're gonna want to rethink this game.
yeah. So it's not like Call of Duty. You can't turn your brain off and just run into this game.
Yeah.
It requires a little bit of thought, and it requires a lot of patience.
Yeah. So, a game like this, we could keep going back and forth, positive, negatives, likes, don't likes. But for what it is,
It's a lot of game. For
it's a lot of
nothing.
time
it is.
for nothing.
fuck no. I mean,
For nothing.
for
no
free,
money.
and,
for free.
and the fact that they don't throw it in your face, where spend real money, spend real
Yeah.
money, spend real money. I mean, you can literally play this game for years and never touch your wallet.
Now, here's what I am going to say. If you pay money for games, the game that I think it has the closest relationship to, Destiny, it seems so much like that. The character model is the same. The type of way you're playing is going to be close to the same.
Honestly, I think that
It's kind of the only difference is you're going third person to first person view, and
True.
Destiny just has a bigger following just because
it's Bungie.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that this game is what Destiny players wish Destiny was, because
Yes.
I played the ever loving shit out of Destiny 1. I bought it day one, and I beat the story that was available in a couple hours. And for somebody that was as amped and pumped about that game as I was, I went semi-pro in Halo 3 and Halo Reach.
Yeah.
I was a diehard Bungie fan. And Destiny very much dropped the ball for me. The only reason that I got back into it was because where I was working at the time, pretty much everybody played Destiny.
Yeah. Here's where I think Destiny had a major fault in it. It was so repetitive.
That's why I didn't
yeah.
get it, because
You go
anytime
through
I
enough
watched the
levels.
streams, it was just the same thing.
If you
Yeah.
go through enough levels, you're going to see the same shit over and over again, just different colors. That is to me poor gaming.
It's the
Like game
definition
writing.
of insanity. Doing
I-
the same thing, expecting
Yeah.
different results.
Exactly, and after a while,
And
it's irritating.
and honestly, I think that grinding on Destiny is so much more painful than like grinding in this game.
Okay, what
Yeah.
about Warframe though? Because we talked about that earlier.
We
too.
did, and that is another game that we will get into reviewing on another show. But Warframe grinds to the point where it almost makes you hate the game, in my opinion, because it does. Because while it makes it very, very painfully obvious, spend money, spend money, spend money, there is another option to that.
Free stuff.
Yeah,
Free stuff
but-
is so hard to come by.
See, and that's the problem, because it's like if you want the Rhino armor, buy the Rhino armor, $5, cash, boom, there it is.
There it is.
If you go cash, then you have to buy the blueprint, and then you have to hunt down the blueprint for each individual piece, the materials for each of those, spend the equal time to time, because it's like an hour in game is an hour real time. So if you're crafting something and it says it's going to take 23 hours. You're gonna wait 23 hours
You have to
in
wait a
real
day.
life, in IRL, for that item to be done. And
that's kind of painful to me. Like, I feel like I'm playing a cell phone game at that point.
It really is,
but
because
that's just microtransactions, right? That's all it's coming.
Yeah, I'm tracking that. It's just like
it really is, because
especially
that game,
in what we're doing, right? In the freemium base, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Free premium. It's such a good game that we're giving you for free. But I mean, if you really want to enjoy it,
if you want everything right now, you're gonna pay for it.
And you know, I don't hate.
My bad,
Damn.
guys.
No.
I'm being mad unprofessional right now. We're checking sports scores.
He's like, oh, Cavaliers again.
So, go on. Sorry.
No, I mean, for being a freemium game, I mean, that's
Okay,
the
so-
thing, right? Microtransactions, yeah, they're huge,
And
right?
Well, yeah,
We brought it up.
it makes the freemium world go round.
It's not even a paywall. It's like a pay hill now.
One of the most toxic examples of microtransactions had to be Battlefront 2.
Oh my God,
Oh, yeah.
7,000
No,
hours to get Darth Vader. I mean,
They had EA straight up had me buy the fucking low hangers. I love Star Wars.
Hangers.
I love Star Wars.
You
They
okay?
know
Okay.
if there's something Star Wars coming out, I'm probably gonna pay for it.
Hold on. True. As a matter of fact, I have a video for you that you're gonna fucking hate me for, but we'll get to that later. So, if you had to pick one, just this does not pertain to anything that we're talking about. If you could only choose one franchise for life, which one would it be? Star Wars or Pokemon?
Star Wars, easy.
Oh, I fucking hate you. All right.
Oh yeah.
Feel free to put in your application for co-host.
I mean, I respect
But you
Star
have
Wars.
to have a better gamer tag than me. That's
that's the
Okay, I guess you
the
could
deal.
say.
Damn, I guess you could say. I mean, Star Wars for me. I mean, I never really.
Star Wars Battlefront 2, the gameplay, very good looking game.
It's a
Hell
great,
yeah.
it
Yeah.
looked great.
No.
Played the beta too.
It's very comparable with Battlefield 1. Be prepared for that. But when I pre-ordered it, my girlfriend was livid. She was like, "Are you kidding me? There's no way you just spent, $70 for a game that you can't even play yet." And I was like, "Babe, don't worry about it. I don't pay money until the game comes out." And she's like, "You're really missing the fucking point here." I was like, No. I put it on the credit card. It's not even real money yet. And
It's not even real
It's not even real money yet.
That's the lie I came up with.
Wait till that fucking APR kicks in, then it's real money.
But the point I'm trying to make is that I feel like I shouldn't have to buy a game and then buy another, more shit to buy the game.
Well,
did I not give you enough lifeblood?
Okay. So here's the thing about DLC that I think no one wants to add into the equation when it comes to economics and all this other stuff, right?
It's a money-making machine.
Yeah, it is, right? So with anything electronic, anything DLC oriented, once it's been out on the market for a year, it loses value. It doesn't matter what it is. Now we're talking actual DLC, which is why season passes get cheaper as time goes on.
Yes.
Because they made it 2 years ago, it's going to be 2 years. How
How does it
cheaper,
work
right?
now that when a game comes out, its engine is already 2 months, or once it hits 2 months, the engine's already outmoded?
Yeah.
That it's just, we're coming up with technology that fast.
really fast, right?
And I totally understand that. The DLC is a necessary part of today's gaming. It keeps everything fresh. But not at the cost of this much
Okay,
money.
but remember. Okay, so like I always like to bring this up, right? Like Sonic 2 on the Sega Genesis was $55 at Walmart, brand new, bro. And I know because I bought that bitch myself. Because my mom would not buy it for me. And I was like, "No, you're gonna go buy that." I was like, all right.
That cartridge it came in was the complete game.
It was
Don't get no more, don't get no less.
But think about what we got for how much money we spent at the time. Okay, it was a lot, but for $55 today, look how much we would get for a $60 game now.
You're getting the bare minimum at $60.
We're getting the bare minimum, but what they're outputting as far as visually, as far as content, as far not content itself, not
we
the
got speedrunners going through Sonic 2 in less than an hour.
Okay, but
that's what I'm saying.
But
exactly.
Yeah, okay, now I'm getting what
you
you're saying.
get what I'm saying. It's
look
like
at it
it's
this way. Look at
we're getting more bang for our buck now than we have been, right? But not as far as content, but as far as how much they have to put out. Games back in the day, Sonic 2 that cost them $15,000 to make. Now a game
with that, gamers are becoming more refined. That our tastes are becoming sharper. Our gameplay is becoming harder. Gamers today
that's
could go
true,
back
but
in time and
but at
beat
the same
asses off
time,
a lot of people.
At the same time, I think that developers as a whole, not specifically this developer or this developer, as a whole, I believe that game developers are becoming lazy. And I'll give you a prime example, and you'll know this one firsthand, Jay.
okay.
You'll know that. Okay, so the initial release of Street Fighter V. Shut your
leaving.
mouth. Shut your fucking mouth. Let me.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Okay, so the initial
So
release.
those putting in an application, please.
Yeah.
consider.
So the initial.
Don't bring up
Okay, and this is
Street
coming
Fighter.
from a die-hard Street Fighter fanatic.
That's such a bad example, though, and I'll tell you why, but continue.
No. I think it's a prime example because when the game was released, 6486, Texas tax and everything. You paid $65. You got your game. You got home. You had an online mode, and a training mode, and that was it. And then they released a statement, like the same day or the day after, that they didn't have enough time to finish it.
And
So then,
that's what I was going to bring up.
3
but-
months later, we get the arcade mode.
Yeah.
Another month or two after that, we get the story
No,
mode.
we got the arcade mode, like...
I think
we got the arcade mode with Arcade Edition. We didn't have an arcade
That's
mode
right.
until
That's
before
right.
that,
It was
yeah.
just the story mode. But that's what I'm saying. Like, another one, Street Fighter Cross Tekken. They had all these characters. Like, at this time we're going to do this one. At this time we're going to do this one. Well, somebody data mined it and found out that every DLC character that they were, spreading out, releasing, were not only completed, but that they were already on the disc.
Let me ask you a question. How much does a fighting game character cost the company to make? And I'm telling you this because I invested in Skullgirls when it dropped. Okay, so I actually
so.
know.
Like, we're talking about from ground up or from like
from ground. I'm talking from. I need to make a video game
So
character.
we're
How
talking
many people
about-
I need to pay? All that cost together.
we're talking
time,
about idea
From concept to
concept to
completion.
To
rendering.
completion.
It's a pretty decent amount of time. You can't just put rushes on these things.
My
These-
dude, okay, $600,000 for one fighting game character because you have to pay somebody for the hitboxes.
Here's what I have to
You
say.
have to pay somebody to doombug. You have to pay somebody for the.
Okay, but at the same time,
so much money.
and I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you
No,
off.
go.
But
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Skullgirls, their animation was flawless.
It was.
So I can understand their time and investment because literally they hand drew and painted every frame that you would expect to see an actual.
Shout out to
person
Mike
do.
I
Z.
gotta say something. Cuphead.
Man,
You're
man.
talking about animators who are going not only to rendering, but talking about hand drawing.
Yeah.
How much
And
was
that
how much
game
was their budget? They said 1.5.
This is an
or
indie
something?
game. It wasn't.
Yeah,
like,
and that game was so phenomenal.
But I think what I have to say most about when we're talking about DLC is we had this conversation the last show we had that you were saying that gaming now becomes so much more of a back and forth between us and the gaming company that they give us the things that we want when we beg for it. So in that, it's a time constraint. So just like you said, it takes this amount of time, this amount of money, this amount of effort to get a new fighting character out there. If you put out something buggy out there, gamers lose their fucking minds.
oh yeah, they'll eat you
Now,
alive.
And you know that's
I didn't even
crazy.
bring this up yet
Yeah.
about this game that we're reviewing today. It only happened maybe 6-7 times, but dialogue errors
Oh, man.
during the game.
That's so bullshit.
We live in a world where satellites track from my phone to a fucking satellite back down to somebody else's, and if I don't get internet in the next 1 second, I will lose my
Oh, you're
fucking
gonna throw your phone against the wall. Yes.
Now, I'm totally tracking that we live in an entirely different era, but this is the expectation today.
Yeah.
We need shit that works.
Shit that
now,
works.
I understand the concept behind DLC. You gotta pay for the shit we're getting, but I think that it's just gone a little bit too overboard.
Yeah.
Where now they expect us to pay for it, and we expect to pay for it. I just,
Okay.
I think it's the step. I think we're the step after now.
Okay, no,
I can
see,
agree with that.
I
I can
understand
agree.
that, right? But okay, so for example, right? Okay, so how would you want it? Would you rather play a game that you like for a year with no update whatsoever, because the company is like, okay, we're just gonna sell you another game a year later, or would you rather them give you a DLC $20 add-on pack a year after the game comes out to keep it fresh for their customer?
That's true, but
I
at
really
the same
told
time,
myself I wasn't going to do it again. Fallout 4. Bethesda took literal years
Yeah.
to develop Fallout 4 to make a perfectly flawless game from the point you bought it.
Yeah.
DLC waited months afterwards because motherfuckers grind hard on this shit, and the DLC was already in works when they released the original game.
Yeah.
So it takes this time to get something truly crafty out there.
That's true, but then the argument shifts.
Last time, I promise I'm going to bring that
I
up.
doubt that because your next one's going to be fucking Siege. But your argument at that point shifts from quality over quantity. You know, because I would much rather play a game like if Street Fighter V came out and it had all the characters they were going to make for it, and it was finished, it was completed, graphically it was great, mechanically it was great. I will play that game until the end of fucking time.
Yeah.
You know, but if you give me like an 8-person cast and then, you know, every 3 months give me one more character, it's kind of a fucking pain in the ass.
I like that. I don't know.
I'd be mad. I think that I'd rather have a great looking game, a great working game, a great game period by just paying the one-time price. Look at God of War. Now, Bethesda talked about it recently. I think they put out I saw a video about it last week talking about Bethesda begging fans to revitalize the first-player game.
Mm-hmm, I saw that.
A lot of game companies are talking about that people don't want to invest the money into.
That's what I'm saying, right? So I think really what the issue that we're talking about here is really single-player versus multiplayer.
Very much so.
And you know
Very
what?
much so.
I will say that. So in the multiplayer aspect, people are willing to shell out more money for more availability to new things.
For fresh
But
content.
in the single player aspect, if I had a great looking game, I'd rather get the complete product
Very much,
rather than waiting for more things.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with
No, in the single-player, hell yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I
I'll
want to make it through
definitely
my
agree
thing.
with that.
And, you know, that doesn't mean that I don't want single player content later. No.
I mean-
but I want a
But
great game that's
from
got
right
fun.
out of the gate.
I can't think about the last, like, first-player, like, single-player game I played.
Well, I mean, PlayStation's got God of War right now, so you know, go check that out.
Mirror's Edge. Mirror's Edge Catalyst.
That was a
that was the
good
last,
game.
like,
That was a damn good game.
Where we got when's Spider-Man coming out?
Ooh, that game was awesome.
Spider-Man's expecting to do pretty well.
Yeah.
Not only for the fact that they said that we are going to do better than Web of Shadows did, which I know it got shit on when it first came out, but I think Web of Shadows is overall decent game. But they said they were going to do better than that. The way this gameplay looks is so smooth, so crisp,
It's,
and it also has this
it really
more
does.
custom, like it has more
It's the
customizable.
Batman engine they used, right?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Batman Arkham series was such a fantastic
Yeah.
So
series.
that's the
Yes.
And I think that's
what it
Mechanics.
feels like.
Yeah,
Mechanics, it looks
mechanically.
like. Is
And I
that better
think-
because for Spider-Man?
Yeah.
It's way better.
And I think this is a good example. Batman took years to develop, and
And it
they
was
gave you
so worth it.
they gave you DLC,
but it
they
was
didn't-
worth it, and
but
you
it was
didn't
worth
need
it.
it, and you didn't need it.
See, and
It didn't-
there's
didn't-
a difference. It was cosmetic.
It was
Yeah.
cosmetic.
Well, I mean,
was-
they gave you more missions.
Yeah,
they
but
gave you
you-
cool
but
stuff.
you
They
didn't
gave you-
need the
Yeah,
missions.
but the mission DLC was free.
Yeah. So, Arkham City, when you got the DLC, they gave you Nightwing, they gave you Catwoman.
Yeah.
These were nice things to have, but
But they
it
weren't
didn't
necessary.
take away from the main story. Yeah, they gave you a complete
Oh,
game.
it's so good.
I think now they are. Battlefront 2 is my example that they gave you this great looking campaign mode, and then when the fucking 8th movie came out, they shit on your face with
Yeah.
the DLC that came out afterward.
Yeah.
It was look, I don't mind when they fucking piss on me, but at least have the decency to say so. Don't call it rain when you're done with it.
Now,
Don't call it.
Here's
I get it.
The-
Probably
the-
Blacksmith. I'm starting to hear it now. I'm starting to hear
the black.
the Blacksmith.
Here's the difference for me, the tiebreaker, if you will. I am willing to spend money on DLC if I find it valuable. Like the season pass for characters on Street Fighter, stuff like that.
Yeah.
To me, I find that valuable.
So what DLC is valuable? Is it aesthetic, or does it have to actually change the way you play the game?
Change the way you
have
play.
to change the play the game.
You see?
And for those
But-
listening back at home, please give us input back on this. We want to know.
Oh,
what you
absolutely,
guys have.
Yeah,
absolutely.
definitely.
We do have a Facebook page, Discount Gamer. Jump on there, throw your input in. Definitely, we'd love to hear from you guys.
Tell us we're right. Tell us we're wrong. Tell us we're fucked up.
Give
tell
us
we're
topics.
But
I totally agree with you. It has to, in a way, revolutionize the game.
yeah,
I will not spend $10 to get a new costume. Not
Yeah.
if it's not going to benefit me. Not if it's not.
now here's
I'd be a fucking idiot for that.
yeah. Now here's
I'm a fucking idiot, guys. This guy right here. I think I've given Capcom like $80 for costumes for my pretty girls in the game.
Pretty girls.
Yeah, like Like first season, I bought Cammy's CPT outfit that you can't get, and you know that's how they get you. When they
Stuff
make it
you can't
limited,
know, yeah.
when they make it a limited time, and you're like, hey, look at this awesome costume
And that's,
that
I
you
think,
can't get after 3 months.
that's kind of exactly what I was talking about when Battlefront 2 came out. They get you with the lore that your hardcore, dedicated fans will give money hand over fist for just another chance to be a part of the community.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very disturbing reality that we have to live with now, that game companies understand that we're willing to spend money on this.
But see, now when it comes to...
It's kind of scary.
Yeah, but here's where I draw the line. One of the best games, hands down, that I've ever played, which was another MMO that a friend of mine got me into, was the Final Fantasy Online. I will say, without contest, it was one of the best games I've ever played. Okay. The game looked incredible.
Final Fantasy
Online. I want to say it was 14, I think.
Final Fantasy 670,
something like that.
Is it the one? Is it PS3 or PS4? Oh, I was like, is it the one you have to get the hard drive?
No,
I remember that
shit though. But I mean, the renders were incredible. The story mode was typical Final Fantasy, just that kind of edge of your seat story mode. But what killed it for me is
shout out to Square Enix.
Oh, very much so.
Yo, give me Legend of Dragoon 2 and just go buy the rights and then give it back.
Shut your fucking mouth. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. KH3.
Oh yeah, okay.
Bring it.
Finally, stop with the 2.5, the 2.25.
Yeah.
We don't want to see 2.8.
Jay, I love you, but just shut your mouth. KH3 is what we want.
Yeah.
Don't listen to him.
But
don't be stupid.
Here's what killed it for me: is the monthly subscription fee. I will flat out, with as much as I enjoyed that game, I flat out refuse to go out and spend $60 a month or $60 for a brand new game, and then continuously every month spend money just to be able to play
that game.
I'm already up to my heels when it comes to giving Microsoft money to just play online.
You know how much I hate that? That's the only thing I hate about PC players. Like, they're always telling me that shit, like, oh, I get to play online for free. And I'm like, yeah, but, like, once your sound card goes out, you're fucked. Like, what are you talking about?
So, like, I mean, that's literally kind of what the purpose of having the show is that you pay your monthly subscription and you get your free shit out of it. We guide you through that free shit.
Yeah. But we do it so that you don't have to have Plus or you don't have to have Gold.
We want you guys to have as much fun for as little money as possible.
Yeah, now, it's expensive out there.
I will say, before we put a final rating on this game, something that I found out quite recently was that this game is cross-compatible.
Is it?
Really?
It is.
Between
now,
what and what?
It is cross-compatible between PS3 and Xbox One and Xbox One and PC. But not all the way around. You don't get the full trifecta.
And, it's that aspect where we're looking a little bit better to the future. Now, in the golden era of all that is gaming, someday we'll have full cross-compatibility all the way down.
Everything.
It'll be like, you're playing here, the dude's at home on his Wii, you're on...
It'll be a great day, and hopefully I live to see it.
Yeah.
But, everything's a money issue.
So, the moment of truth.
That's going to be expensive.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so...
One being complete and utter shit.
One is
doggy doo-doo.
Yeah, one is burning your console for the sheer thought of downloading this.
You install it, you uninstall it the next day.
Yeah.
When you guys give your ratings, don't just give me a number. Give me some...
Yeah. Now, this... On this game, the ratings are going to be very player dependent. So, for me, I'd have to say this game was a very, very solid 6 to 7, maybe a definite 5 to 6
on a MMORPG scale, right?
Yeah. Well, for me,
because you've also played MMORPGs though, so you understand the concept they want you to get from the game.
The reason for it though is the game looks phenomenal. It plays phenomenal. I love the mechanics. I love how it plays. But what knocks it down a couple pegs is they give you so much information so fast with no explanation. There are so many factors to how strong you can or cannot be with no explanation. Like, there is almost too much that they don't tell you about, that they don't explain, that they don't tutorialize, anything like that.
Yeah.
And that, for me, really kicks it in the teeth. But just for what it is, I mean, the game is phenomenal. You don't have to have Plus to play it online. It downloads pretty quick, even though with as big as it is.
Yeah, I think I started downloading it, went to McDonald's, came back, and it was good to go.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take very long.
McDonald's, please. I love your food. Give me free shit.
And the fact that really all you're downloading is your save data shell, and the initial startup and the cinematics.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is cloud-based off of this game, or server-based, technically. Which really just kind of gives that one-up for me, because the fact that...
There's no cheating, because it's server-based.
Yeah,
there's no one,
but the fact that there's all this information just on constant stream from their server, I mean, I think that's fantastic. But yeah, for me, without any kind of waiver, I'd have to say 5 to 6.
Okay,
5 to 6.
All right. Again, I played it for about 5 days. This is Poppin' Locker again. J Champ, what's up? 13th Power on Twitter. Hit me up anyway. I don't play MMORPGs ever. I don't think The Sims is considered an MMORPG, even though it can be online, but I don't think that's what it's considered.
I don't know what that is.
Life simulator.
It's a life simulator.
Right?
I was actually gonna say that.
Yeah. Goat Simulator for life.
You ever played Farm Simulator with the tractors?
No, I haven't.
That game is fucking hilarious.
It's the only game ever where you'll actually catch me picking cotton. That's the only game you'll
Too
Too easy.
Just keep going with your rating, because this will not end well.
Very low hanging fruit. And that's the Mexican part.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Call it.
man, okay. For me, I play fighting games. I play a little, some shooters here and there. Even touch Fortnite a little bit, whatever. I want to try that new one that just dropped on the PS4. I would have to give it a 4. Only reason it's even getting a 4 is because, like John said, it does look good. It does look fucking fantastic. The controls while you're in battle or in on quest, they're hard, but at least it's responsive. You're never like, oh, that's not what I did. You press something and it does something. You're like, okay, so I did a combination somewhere that gave me this, and the game's really responsive on that. So, the community, like I said, it's a little toxic, but I don't think it's anything you can't filter out on yourself. Multiplayer aspect is pretty good. I think the partying system is actually awesome. They didn't mention that, but I think the party system in the game is pretty good. Like the way that you can actually, if you're in game and you go to a party and you're in game, you can actually invite people from the game into your party.
Yeah.
So that's really unique. A lot of games don't do that. I didn't know about the cross-platforming ability, so like I'm surprised that they have that option with the cross-platform. So it feels like chatbots. A lot of people use Discord on there apparently for chatting, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean 4. I would have to say 4, just for my personal opinion on the game. Too much information, guys. Give us a tutorial, not even an in-depth one. Lead me in the right direction. That's it.
Yeah.
We're smart. So be like, hey, you need to find your abilities. All your abilities for any ability needs to be in the abilities tab. I need to not be going, hey, it's my character ability and then my partner ability, and then it needs to all be in the one same place.
Let us know how you guys feel about this. This isn't a one-way street.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your?
Yeah. So what about you, X?
You guys know, like, I love me an RPG. I love me a first-person shooter. I think I got to call this one a 4.
A 4
or 2. Okay.
And I really want to express myself that this is a good-looking game, but I had critical faults in things like dialogue rendering. When you enter a map, there is rendering issues. But when everything gets loaded, it is a good-looking game. The controls do what you say. Now, if you're a fast button shooter, expect to see some issues. Like if you're throwing down combos like you're playing Street Fighter, you're going to have missed buttons.
Buttons all the time.
To me, that was kind of an issue, but when you start looking at the screen, you start participating with the game, you can easily see where the fault comes into.
Okay.
Terms of playability, if this is your type of game, if you really love an in-depth game with deep story and a lot of information flying, this might be your game. But if you're a plug-and-play kind of dude, this is a little bit something that you might want to call.
Or gal. We're not sexist here. Or gal.
I call women dudes all the time.
Oh, okay. So dudes do
that.
that.
If you were looking for a plug and play, I'd have to say steer clear of this one.
Steer clear, not a plug and play.
For curiosity's sake, I will say, doesn't cost you anything to do it. Nothing but your time. everything is worth a try at least
Yeah.
once.
Try it, see if you
yeah,
like
definitely.
it. You might like it. It might be your
Might be your thing.
little stitch.
But for me,
Something
you
you
know,
never knew you
I
liked.
might continue to play it every now and then out of curiosity's sake, but I can't see me being, you know, a year two
Die
type
hard.
of player. You know,
All right, so what are we calling this one between the three of us? Hands down.
I think we'd have to call it like a 4.5.
4.5.
okay, yeah, it was 4-4, and you said 7.
You said 5 to 6.
Yeah,
5 to
So
6.
that's right around
So yeah,
5.5.
Yeah, 4.5, 4.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
All right, so yeah, we're calling this one at a 4.5.
that's the
let's-
discount gamer score.
Yeah, definitely. So
Nice.
with that, we actually have something exciting going on. Well, not yet, but it's coming. E3.
Ooh, Electronics Expo. We're
I
gonna
think-
cover that too. I mean, I always pay attention, so if you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
want to do that, I am definitely.
You know,
I don't. I think. So far, Microsoft has been entertaining the last couple years, but not like wow factor.
They lost. They lost the battle 3-1 on the PS4.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And then
Nintendo has always been kind of cutesy, like, oh, I'll watch it just to see what's up, but like, there's nothing that's ever wowed me.
PlayStation needs, they need
not
to
since
pick
the
it up
Wii.
this year.
PlayStation last year they had a pretty fucking amazing conference. They really did.
I want to see another. What is that game called? It's not Monster Hunter. It's the
Monster Rancher.
God, that game was fucking
Fuck yeah.
dope. I think about that every time you say Monster Hunter. I'm like,
Yep.
oh,
Monster Rancher. Yeah, Monster Rancher.
like the fucking green one with the giant ass eye.
Okay,
that was
so
lit.
Blazo.
there was nothing cooler than loading up another monster from like another
Yep.
disc.
Yes.
There was nothing
Monster
cooler
Rancher
than that.
3.
There
Yep.
was nothing cooler than
You were
that.
grabbing movies and music and
What?
everything you could get your
Throwing
hands
it
on.
down.
It was some cool stuff.
Now, this might age me a little bit, but when I was playing Monster Rancher 3, Yu-Gi-Oh! The series had this like Burger King thing where like they would give you discs.
I saw that
and then
shit.
if you loaded that shit, it
Yep.
gave you an S-class fucking thing,
I
which
saw
you
that.
could never use because nobody was S-class.
Yep.
That shit was baller as fuck. Got scratched up to hell. Couldn't play anymore. Cried myself to sleep.
Okay, so if there was any one game between all the conferences that you want to see that they have in development, what would it be?
But from what era, right? Because if we're talking
No, it doesn't matter. Like
PS1, PS2,
like
any system.
Yeah, like there's just a game that they are re-releasing
I don't know.
from the ground up for your respective console. Because I know that you and I play on PS4, you play Xbox One.
You want another Gears of War? Is that what
I never
you're?
was a big Gears of War kind of guy, but it was a pretty famous franchise.
It is a. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. I don't know anything about Xbox.
MW2 remastered on the table here?
Modern Warfare 2
Yeah.
remastered.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what would you like to see?
I want to see another remaster. Remasters are good, right? Like shout outs to Spyro, shout outs to Crash Bandicoot. Like I appreciate all of that, right?
MW2, in my mind, was probably one of the best online plays ever. You know, kind of
Oh, the
put
Scar
Call
H?
of Duty on the map.
Scar H. Yeah, Scar H. Yeah, he
Yeah,
smiled.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
busted motherfucker. Scar H.
All right.
Aim down sight, motherfucker.
So would you want to see a re-release or a remaster?
No, I want to. If you're gonna get Modern Warfare 2, I think they should remake the game. I want them.
I'd love a remaster. You know, we are working with an entirely new realm
Oh,
of
yeah.
technology here.
Oh, yeah.
The rendering ability that we have today for paid games is unlike anything we've had before.
So just
Ever.
add on top.
Let's
I mean,
talk
we're
about graphics. Let's talk about
we're in the
gameplay.
era of 4K graphics, something that we never fathomed
Yeah.
we'd ever see.
What about you, John? What game are you hoping, or not even hoping, that you just want to see there? Because
Honestly, there's no contest. Armored Core.
another Armored Core.
I would lose my absolute shit
Armored Core.
if they released another Armored
What?
Core.
I mean,
Blitz the league.
give me Zone of Enders with Armored Core like customizations, and then like.
Well,
we're
see,
talking.
like here's the thing for me is I'm a huge mech fan. Armored Core, BattleTech, Mech Warrior,
Titanfall.
like those
Titanfall.
big, like
Yeah.
bulky.
and the fact that Armored Core lets you literally build your mech from the ground up any way you want to, and then pilot it. I've played every one of the series, and I've just been an absolute diehard fan. Now, if I had to choose, I guess, a more streamlined game, another Castlevania. another series that I've played and beat everything in it, and I love it.
Now, is this just in terms of like the like E3 stuff, or is this just like point blank period? What would we want to bring?
Yeah, like
no,
point blank period.
no.
What would they want? What would we want to see? I don't know. I kind of want a first person Contra. Like
A first-person Contra, that's interesting.
no one
Like the up down, left right, AB.
Yeah, like
start?
old school Contra, right? Like you see how like Contra was like you
Like,
could
it's-
only move right.
that-
Give me Contra, but like I could only move forward. But like it's still first
That
person.
game, like, it was literally like it started a generation of knowing this is the fucking shittiest hard game ever.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying, and I kind of want
That
that.
was
Okay,
Dark Souls before
have you
Dark
guys?
Souls.
Yes, have you guys ever played a game called Black? It was a first person
Fuck,
shooter.
yes.
Okay, on the PS2.
That game was
and it was
too legit to
It was
quit.
ridiculously hard. Okay.
Yeah.
I need that. I want that again, but in a first-person shooter. That's what drives me.
Oh, you know
for
what?
like
we
fighting gamers.
I think we brought it up like very beginning of the show or right before the show. Why are we not doing Knights of the Old Republic? Where does that come into play?
As far as
Old
what?
Republic for what?
In terms of like releasing, why are people not talking about this is the game that we want back?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Honestly, because I think that the last Star Wars game just burned the community really, really bad.
Yeah.
I think it's at a point where Star Wars fans are, for once, more concerned about the movie releases.
And I think that we should be using the movie releases as
A catalyst.
to like push this thing forward.
So do I.
Yeah, but that rides on the back of Disney though at the end, right? Because Disney has to
yeah.
allow
Disney
for
has
the license.
the most fucking money ever.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah,
give a
yeah.
fuck. You saw what happened to Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. God damn it, I mentioned
Yeah,
it
no
again.
shit. But Maximilian actually just put out a video on his YouTube channel. Maximilian Dude, definitely follow him if you don't already. He's a phenomenal YouTube caster. But he's actually gone back to playing it because the patch they just released and stuff. And he put out a tweet today, I think, saying that people are actually like starting to go back to playing MVCI.
Yeah, I fight matches all the time now. I wasn't
Yeah.
fighting matches before. I fight
yeah,
matches.
the community is actually like starting to come back.
It's rough. It's rough. Disney. Oh man, I don't know. Lucas did that and was like, here, Disney, right? And the Disney was like, okay, watch us.
No, see,
watch me work.
No, I think the fault of the Star Wars game didn't have anything to do with Disney.
It had everything.
It had everything to do
It had-
with EA.
EA.
It had everything. I think it had to do with both, man. Because
I don't.
think about Disney. Think about how
Disney
strong.
reamed that ass as soon
Yeah.
as
Oh,
people
yeah.
had a negative impact to it.
Yeah, but-
because
But no, he's saying
because
like
Di-
ultimately it is.
Yeah, because
Oh,
Disney
okay.
was like, okay, here, EA,
Ultimately-
here's what we want you guys to do, and EA goes, okay. Somewhere along the line, EA went, here's what our plan is, Disney, and Disney went, we know nothing about video games, because our last good video games was a video game where you had to buy a toy, because we were just trying to really sell you a toy,
yeah.
right? Skylanders, remember that? That
no,
was
it
It was
wasn't
like
Skylanders.
Infinity
no
or something.
Infinity. Yeah, where you had to buy the.
which I collected the shit out of. I'm
Right.
not even gonna lie, I fucking love
But
that
that's
shit.
that was like for the sake of getting collectibles.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the only reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But when they were doing it to push the toys.
Yeah,
Right.
But they did it so well.
Right, and they did it really well.
And then, like,
right, and then
Disney's
now,
only got like fucking KH3 in the works.
Exactly.
Like that's the big thing about
And
Disney.
you-
Yeah,
and
but
then the thing about that
but
is that, like,
respectively, that's Disney and Square Enix, and
Yeah.
Square Enix has just a shining record. They really do.
That's true. Is that really Disney or Square Enix? Because I don't
It's both.
Disney. I
It's
don't think
both.
did
No.
Disney make the game though.
No.
Or did they just license it to Square Enix?
No,
to Square
no,
Enix?
they
It was
actually
a lot.
had their hands in it because
It
it's
was a lot? 'Cause it's a
because
good
it's
game.
because
like,
it's Square Enix
using-
and Disney Interactive.
using Disney like their money makers as subject matter, they were like, "Fuck no! If you were going to do this, we are going to do this right next
Yeah,
to you."
like, they
And
held hands through that
That's
entire
partially
process.
why KH3 is taking so long to release, is because they're like, "Okay, we want to put out some newer stuff with you, but you're going to do this in the safest way possible.
See-
We will not take a loss for this one." Is pretty much what they're saying.
Yeah.
See,
They
and
don't- they don't wanna deal with
I
it.
think that's smart because they know how much is riding on this game.
Yeah, to wait
But
15 years or
but no,
something like that.
does no one see the hypocrisy in this though? They wait so long for their own stuff, the stuff that really matters to the company, but the
And
shit
then
that
just
doesn't really matter to them,
give them
like
the-
Marvel, shit that doesn't matter to these companies,
I mean, fuck
like
no. the
like-
MCU is making fucking money hand over fist.
No,
Like,
I'm talking. I'm not talking about like the MCU. I'm talking about like on the game aspect because they were
they don't give a
doing.
shit about that.
They don't give a shit about the game aspect. They don't give a shit about the toy aspect. It's all about this like Like Star Wars, this is where our money is making in Star Wars now. Is making it in the movie, so that's where we're gonna put our pressure.
Yeah.
Instead of them being loyal and being, you know what, we need to keep these avenues of revenue from these different types of licenses deals that we have, because we own these companies now. Let us make the money in all these avenues. No, they're going, you know what, I own this company, I own this company, I own this company. We're gonna pick the one avenue that makes the most money on all of them, and then kill all the others. And that I feel like it hurts a lot of the fans for the companies.
It really does, because for something like that, it should be like, okay, this is the game that we want to make. You need to do anything and everything to make this game phenomenal. Don't worry about the movies. Don't worry about this game over here. Don't worry about this game.
Yeah.
Focus on this game and make it the best game possible.
And it's not even like, Disney can only focus on one thing. It is the fucking Disney conglomerate.
Oh, yeah.
They have literally hundreds of thousands of people doing this thing. Like, who like, it's not like they need to specifically focus on
they're definitely prioritizing what they are.
Disney is definitely killing it with animated movies and the MCU.
Oh, yeah.
We are expected to see the highest grossing film of all time with Infinity War.
Oh, easily. Easily. But where, and I definitely have to agree, Jay. I think that where they draw off the ball is, MVCI, that, Marvel 3 Ultimate almost had what would be considered a cult following. It still does. Mm-hmm. And I think that they wanted too much to make it like Ultimate 3, whereas they should have made it something greater than Ultimate 3.
Yeah, different.
They should have made it just something that would just catch the world by storm and just carry that
they tried
that title going. See, I don't think so. I think that with
that type of digital revolution is very hard to come by.
It really is, but when you have a company like Capcom making it and they're overseen by Disney, because Disney, I don't know this from experience, but Disney seems to me, especially with a game like Marvel Infinite, where it's like, we want this game to be awesome and fast and brutal and stuff like that, but super kid friendly.
Yeah.
And I mean, with a fighting game, you have to pick one or the other.
Yeah.
You can't have Mortal Kombat wearing foam bodysuits.
Yeah.
That
was going to be my examples. Like, Mortal Kombat goes into this realm of if it's got to be fighting, it's got to be gory. But then you've got other games that Super Smash Bros. For instance, it's probably one of the most successful. You wouldn't call it this, but a lot of people would. Fighting games that it's very cartoony, but it works for it.
It works though. It works how they
but
they implemented.
But that's not your traditional sense. Of fighting
but
game.
they found that winning formula.
Yeah,
and
that's the issue. The formula, bloody roar type stuff. They need to find the winning combination of things.
But
right now the formula
that's
says movies.
Yeah, but that's just it. Like Smash is a prime example, because they have not changed their quote unquote formula since the first one.
Yeah.
But they've released. But that's just it.
Just give me what I like.
That's just it.
Give me what I like. Exactly.
But what they have done is they've released better content, more extensive content.
Yeah.
In the way of Smash, more characters.
I'm not going to fault somebody for saying, give me a better looking game. Give me the same mechanics. Give me the same subject. Just give it better looking, more characters.
Yeah.
Now, you could definitely accomplish that with some DLC, but, sometimes you gotta revamp a little bit. Call of Duty's trying to do it with the Battle Royale.
Oh, man. Let's talk about Call of Duty a little bit.
I think at this point now we're calling it Call of Duty's playing catch up, and they have been for the last, 3 games.
Catch up to who, though?
Now, Call of Duty, when Battlefield 1 came out, was definitely playing catch-up. Battlefield 1 was probably one of the best shooters that I've seen in, 5 years.
Okay, here's my input to that. I don't think they're playing catch-up. I think Call of Duty's problem is that they are very fad-based. For instance, Infinite Warfare. Every other game was doing, a super scientific, super future-based theme. So they were like, you know what, that's what's selling right now. Let's do that.
But we bought Infinite Warfare in the hopes that we were going to get MW2 remastered.
Yeah.
So I think we're calling final review at 4.5.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All in all, definitely worth a download.
Yeah, check it out. See what you like.
Definitely.
And just in case you're listening to this and there's a jump in audio, I got a phone call and the app that I use freezes at that time, and then we just kind of forgot what we were doing.
You just gotta cut it.
No. Because remember that that's one of our things is we don't edit.
No edits.
Yep.
No edits.
Yeah. The only thing that we put is the intro and outro music.
Like it raw.
You get that for yourself. Just wait till you have kids, and then no more raw food. The only thing that I like raw is my steak.
Maybe cook it a little though.
Cook it a little.
Rare is nice.
I'll stop it from mooing.
All right, so
But no,
4.5.
definitely, yeah, definitely 4.5 on Skyforge. Give it a check out.
if you haven't already, check out our previous show.
Yes, this is our second episode. We do this every week. We record on Tuesdays, put the show out by Fridays. We have a Facebook, Discount Gamer. We're on iTunes, Anchor, Overcast, a couple other ones.
Hit us up.
Yep.
Let us know what you guys think, some topics, if you guys think there's something we should cover.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys would like to hear our opinions on something, as retarded as they may be, definitely hit us up. Again, I am Iron Business 01 on Twitter. Definitely hit me up. Let me know what's going on, Jay.
Yeah, Jay Champion again. Poppin' Locker on PSN. At 13th Power. That's 13th Power on Twitter. Hit me up. Questions, concerns, comments.
Smart ass remarks.
Xavier Keys at
Here it
Brolic
goes.
Blaxican
Yeah.
on Xbox Live and also on Instagram. So come ask me questions. Come ask me what you like.
Later, guys. Appreciate the
But
listen.
yeah, definitely, guys. Thank y'all for being here, and we hope to see you guys next week. Rather than giving in and saying, hey, just go back to cutting him down. I mean, violence begets violence.
Exactly.
I was like, look, man, it's just a game. It's not the end of the world. Your KDR might be affected, but still, it's just a game. It's not going to ruin your life.
Are you making money?
And then, well, no, because we ended up chatting it up a little bit, and he ended up apologizing because he said that he had Tourette's, and and that's just something that happens. Now, whether he did or not is neither here nor there. Yeah, but still, the fact that, if assuming he did, then he made it a point to not only say that and then apologize immediately after that.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that helps.
I think one of the smartest things I've ever heard about video gaming itself is that you as the player are the catalyst for change in that. So at any point in time, you get frustrated, you can just turn off the game. That'd be the end of it. But, we as a society love to drag this type of thing out. But getting back to the game at hand, Paladins.
Oh my god.
Paladins is a lot like Fortnite in the aspect, please don't sue me Fortnite when I say this, it's very childlike in the aspect that I'd probably be cool with 10-year-old playing this game. There's no blood, there's no real bullets out here.
Energy is, it's really fantasy violence.
It's a really low stakes type of scenario. When you die, you don't even die. You kind of
Tom and Jerry stuff.
You fall and you're like, oh, okay.
Oh, I got flattened. Oh, I'm back up.
Yeah. And it's not even like, you say like, oh, character dead. No, oh my god.
It says eliminated.
Yeah.
Like they're playing tag and stuff.
Exactly. It doesn't, when it gives you your score, it gives you KDA, but like it never says kill. Death. No. Like it's eliminations.
If you're an adult, you can understand that means that's kill, death, assist. You understand that's what that means. But
as a kid,
it doesn't really tell you. It just says, that's how many people I've eliminated.
And I think we're kind of phasing that out as a video game culture, that we're really trying to get rid of very hard types of violence. Now, of course, you're going to have your FPSs, your Battlefields, your Call of Duties, your whatever. But these type of games that are going to be
combats,
and I think it's more a free to play culture that kids have access to this. As a 10-year-old, if you know your way around your Xbox, if you know your way about your PlayStation, you can get whatever game you want for free. And that's where I think that these free to play games kind of have this small responsibility. Now, of course, all responsibility falls to the consumer.
Oh yeah,
you cannot blame the game company for what you decided to do. It's up to you. But I could definitely see how free to play people have a problem with, I made this game with the specific intent for teenagers and adults to play. But some little 5-year-old jumps on there because they know their way around an Xbox.
Well, yeah. Well, that's true. That's very true.
See, you can't. I don't think there's any way to stop that. Like, you can personally stop it. Like, if I'm online and I hear it's a kid in a lobby or something, I'm like, hey kid, what's up? I'm like, hey, can you do me a favor? I was like, if you're gonna play on our team, like, I'll tell them. I'll try to. Because because no one ever did that to me when I was younger, trying to play Call of Duty online.
They ran through me.
They'd be like, "Oh, you're a kid," they would just talk all this crap. But now, if I'm on the other end, it's some kid, and I'm like, "Hey, kid, like, can you stop yelling in the mic?" I'm like, That's not what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Don't make me mute you, because then you can't hear me, and then that means I can't hear you, and then we're supposed to be playing. We're on the same team.
I've definitely told guys that, like, hey man, I need to listen to the game. If you're sitting here screaming in my ear, I can't help you.
I will mute you, and then we're both fucked, and then we're both gonna lose, and we're on the same team. So can you stop?
That's true, but at the same time, like, that's why the ESRB is taking the steps that they have, along with Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo. Well, not so much Nintendo. I mean, they're just kind of all around. Anyways, but for example, like on the PS4, if for example, my son, if he goes in and tries to download an M-rated game, because even the free-to-play games are rated.
Yeah.
But I have the parental controls on. If they catch that he's trying to download a game that is rated M for mature, it will ask him for that password.
Yeah.
Same thing with playing it. I found out if he's playing on his profile
and he tries to load up the game,
exactly, then it's still going to hit you. Now the downside of that is he can just load my profile, no problem.
Yeah.
But you have to password check your profile. But he has to think. Yeah. He has to think that far. Yeah.
That's a responsibility you gave your child.
Exactly.
Like, it works that way. If you really, really, really don't want your kid to do this, if you really, really, as a parent, decide that this isn't right for you, take these steps.
Exactly. Like,
that's it.
There are ways to prevent it, but it does constitute you taking that step.
Yeah.
It's not just sitting down, putting a couple of characters in, and then it's good. There's going to be ways around it. But getting back to the game,
so like I was talking about before, this game is not nearly as violent as some other games could be, and I think that's kind of a strong sell when it comes to
who's playing it, definitely.
Participation.
I'd have to say that is a huge bonus for me.
Yeah. Like, I'd feel comfortable with, like, a 10-year-old playing this. Like,
well, not only that. People often associate violence with fun factor. The more violent, the more fun it is. It's really just automatic associations. That's not always true.
Right.
But
Because I was about to bring in Mortal Kombat, because I definitely feel fun when I'm get a good fatality.
true.
Rip their spine out.
But
fatality.
it's for me at
I
least.
already know I'm a sick person. I made peace with that.
We're not going to go there. Maybe our listeners will find out gradually. But it's really good to see a game that is not only drawn but colored and operated, to be just bright and user friendly and inviting.
Yeah.
That still has this massive fun factor behind it.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, they want you to spend money on the game.
Well,
That's
yeah.
what they want.
True, but every developer does.
And
but
the walls that they have in this game are pretty freaking high. Like the paywalls, the fact that they have that rotation thing. I like the rotation thing, and then I hate it, right? Because the rotation thing makes it so that the 5 characters that you can use that you don't have unlocked, but then you find a character you liked, and then 2 weeks later it's out of rotation, and guess what? You have to buy the character. So the game is really made to make you want to spend money.
That's true, but.
Gold is really easy to come by.
Exactly. See, and that's the other part of the show that I definitely want to make it a point to share is, games, while yes, free to play games will always have that pay to win wall.
Yeah.
But a lot of them have an alternate way for you to get what you want without spending real money.
Yeah, like why are the characters cost different?
Because
I think it's like effectiveness of the character, or
it's
because like Leanne. Sorry,
Yeah, Leanne.
I can't say her name.
First time lose the second.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's 60. She's 60,000 coins.
Yes, she's 60 because she's a newer character.
But
If you go to some of the characters that are older, they're 30,000.
oh, so they're full there.
So and it's one of those things.
That might also have something to do with pick rate and like pick rate to win rate, and they do like to try to get the balance for that.
Yeah, and it's just balancing and timing and so on and so forth.
Because there's a lot of games out there where they'll have these very specific characters that you can pick from, and if they have a high pick rate and high win rate together, game developers definitely do look at those situations like that.
Oh,
like,
very much so.
We misbalance the game. We're going
to
go
patch
ahead and
the
fix
crap
it.
out of this right now.
See, and High Res, the developer of this game, and Smite, which I play a ton of, they're really, really good at paying attention to that. I know on Smite here recently, there was a character, unfortunately, I can't recall, but I know that she was just steamrolling people.
Yeah.
And for somebody that plays as much as I do, I know for a fact if I saw that character card on the opposing team, that either they were going to know how to play her or they weren't. If they weren't, we were good. But if they knew how to play her, she was going to be a problem. Yeah. And like right around, they hit her with a Nerf hammer.
Oh yeah.
And they brought her down a couple pegs. And Hi-Rez has always been just absolutely phenomenal about
I've
that.
seen many great players, many great guns get brought down by the Nerf hammer,
Oh, yeah.
which is fair.
The FGC, oh my god, that is just a cesspool of just chatter when it comes to, nerfing and buffing and stuff like that, especially when it comes to games like Street Fighter V. Like this last patch, Cammy was always she I brought up Cammy because I play Cammy, but she was already pretty high tier, and then they buffed her, and the community went nuts. Not in a let's go out to the ballpark nuts. No, like
Stop
there's
what you're
fixed to
doing.
be some fucking riots here.
And what's crazy? Here's the crazy thing about this about the Cammy buff, man. They didn't really change anything on her. All they really gave her is, she can already DP you in the super, and she can do V trigger 1, spiral arrow, DP
Into super, yeah.
Right now she can do DP V trigger, DP V trigger into super now. So that's the buff that nobody
Those
wanted.
not familiar with it, I promise you, DP doesn't stand for what you think.
Oh no, Dragon Punch. Okay, Cannon. Not Cannon Strike. Cannon Strike. Cannon Spike.
Please
right?
do not look up Canon
Yeah.
DP.
Oh man, don't. Oh my God, what is that? What's that rule called?
Rule 34.
Rule 34. Do not look that up, guys. I apologize, but yeah, they made her real. It's not like they made her stronger. They just gave her another avenue she didn't need.
That's true, but at the same time, you have to think about it. A lot of players don't have the skill to pull that off, anyways. So it's not like it makes a difference.
Yeah,
You know,
to the lower tier players.
To the lower tier players.
Well, lower mid. You know, like you start seeing stuff like that in like second half of the medium to high tier. But again, a lot of that just comes with going into the lab, playing with the characters, seeing what they can and can't do, blah 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 blah. But going back to, you know,
Why can't everybody run in paladins? That's my question.
what do you mean?
Because not everyone L3. No, not everyone can run.
Okay, we were
That's
talking about this.
one of
Okay,
what we're talking
so
about.
I know some the characters you can aim down sight can run.
Yeah,
not always.
Victor gets the sprint perk,
Yeah,
which like
yeah,
he can run.
He gets sprint
pretty quick.
and he gets aim down.
Yeah,
Whereas other characters
Which
that carry rifles, like Tira, she can't aim down and she can't run.
And she can't run.
But her other skills make up for that. That's probably the one thing.
it's a good balancing act. I think.
It is, because I like the fact that they made that a skill.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't just, like in Call of Duty, you can't just jump in and expect to fucking run and, you know, crouch slide with everybody. You know, only specific characters can run or aim down or something like that.
So like,
You know, so on one hand, I really, really like the fact that they did that. Bless you. On the other hand, I think that myself as a gamer has gotten so used to being able to sprint in an FPS
yes,
that my initial thought was like, this is fucking bullshit.
and you know, I had to
Hit-
do it just because I was so used to the FPS. I had to switch it to third person just to kind of experience that.
Okay, I can
And
see
it
that.
does take that element out of it where you stop feeling like you
you need
have
to
to be
run.
yeah. And like I still do the same thing. I'll click down on the joystick and I'll keep moving because that's a very instinctive thing for me. I constantly am shooting like my left trigger ability because I think that I'm aiming down the sights. I can't.
It took me a while to get used to that.
So like, one of the characters, Victor, I think this is the stupidest ability, but I guess it just works for him, is his left trigger is aim down sights. I think that shouldn't even be an ability. But you've got other characters that use their left trigger for all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah, and like I said, like we're at a point where every other FPS has aim down.
Yeah.
You know, so initially, like I said, I was the same way. Initially, I was like, this is bullshit. If I'm carrying a gun, I should be able to aim down the sights. But thinking about it, it's like that's given me the freedom to get rid of aim down and give me a completely different skill that, if used properly, I can fucking ruin somebody with it.
So Ruckus, I believe, when you do right trigger, you start spinning a minigun, which is great because it doesn't have extremely high damage, but it has high rate of fire.
And he is such a problem. He's got so much, like even level 1 Ruckus is so
for me,
beefy.
When I started with Ruckus, Ruckus was my second character because I picked Lex because that was the first black dude I saw. But when I got Ruckus,
Get at me,
it was
racism.
pretty much it. I'm willing to add it. I would, as Ruckus, I'd find a spot, I'd post up, start spinning up. Once you got a target and you're painting on him, go ahead and hit him with the rocket with the right trigger.
Yeah.
That's great. Once you start getting fire returned on you, go ahead and turn on the shield because that gives you the extra 2-3 seconds that your other players come in behind you, start waxing.
I will say with Ruckus, one thing, I understood it because I think that it would be considered OP, but at the same time, I didn't like it was with his rockets. It's not like you would think your typical rocket is, where if I have you in my crosshairs and I fire rockets, boom, it's a lock-on.
Oh,
it's
no,
one of
this
those
is-
where your rockets will go exactly where you are aiming.
Yeah,
and that's it.
I hit the feet with most characters. It's
yeah,
pretty
like-
decent amount of area damage.
Yeah, but like once I understood
Yeah. So, like,
the operating for his rockets, then I was good. Because it kept being one of those things where I was thinking it was a lock-on situation.
no, yeah.
Especially since I play like a lot of Armored Core.
Yeah.
Um,
Or even Titanfall will do that.
yeah,
you
with
both
Titanfall
tone.
especially, like when you hold the activation.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept getting frustrated because it's like I know I had said person in my crosshairs, but my rockets went
Takes
that way.
one shift and they're gone.
Yeah.
But
And for people, since you're just listening, I pointed to the right.
I feel like I definitely see a nerf on the horizon when it comes to Ruckus's ultimate ability, because it's not only bad enough that you're painting targets hard with a minigun and you're also getting hit them with rockets, but if you get enough damage out there and the whole team just happens to be on the other side and you're just looking at them, I go ahead and press Y and it's a whole team kill.
That's
And you're gonna
true.
have to play it.
Okay, I can see that, but at the same time, I would have to disagree because whenever you go into your character select screen, they give you the different icons, damage, support, buff, stuff like that, to build what is quote unquote a perfect team. And there's surprisingly a lot of people out there that play.
Like in terms of Ruckus's ultimate, I've never fired this unsuccessfully. It is catastrophic for the other team.
Really?
Because this is partially me
terrible
like
at it.
experience when it comes to like how to properly use an ultimate, but it is straight up. If I see 2 or 3 people on the other team in like inside the blast zone, I'll best believe I'm opening up because number one, I don't want to die because that's stupid. That looks bad on me.
True story.
But number 2, I want to be playing the game every single match. And the way to do that, number way to do that, go ahead and get like 4 kills on a single shot.
Yeah.
Looks great.
But the counterbalance, like, the more I think about it, the more I can really appreciate the way that they made each character because, yes, Ruckus has the ability to just
Decimate.
Just wipe,
Yeah.
an entire team. But then you have players like, what's his name, Fernando or some shit like that, who has the shield that he can travel with. There's a couple of
so
characters.
salty with that dude because it just dragged me off the map. Imagine how embarrassing that is.
There's quite a few. Oh, dude, there's one. I don't remember his name, but he's in that big red and gold armor.
Yeah.
I played with him when he was on Free Dude, and just because I'm morbid as fuck, my favorite thing is like leashing somebody and then cutting the leash right as he's pulling them and just throw them off the map. And I'll just turn around and just watch them. Like I won't fire at them, just so that whenever they watch that kill cam, they see me just watch their body fly off the map. But there's a surprisingly a really high number of characters that have some sort of group shielding that they can deploy.
And that really does come down to like team dynamics when it comes to player selection.
It really does.
Now, the number one thing, when you start selecting characters, your team's going to tell you where you're imbalanced. So if you didn't take a front line out there, it'll let you know. If you didn't take a support out there, it'll let you know. It's not a requirement to have every part of the team fill out.
No, it's
but
not.
It is highly suggested.
It helps.
Yeah.
One thing I have noticed, though, not just with the character that I've started playing, what's Ying, the little fucking genie in a bottle.
Well, that seems racist.
I'm sure.
There's something wrong there. I just haven't figured out what it is yet.
We'll find it somewhere. But when you play a support character, typically in MOBA games and such, they're typically on the lower end of the damage scale. Mm-hmm. Now they can buff, they can heal with the best of them, but one-on-one direct damage, usually they're on the lower end.
Yeah.
A lot of the support types, the healers, I have seen them just fucking ruin people.
Yeah.
Like just base attack damage. I've seen them do a lot of stuff, and especially with Ying, she has an ability where she creates a magical copy of herself, and you can determine where it goes. And if an ally runs by, that Mirage will heal a teammate. But she has another ability called Shatter, and if you press and hold it, it will seek out the nearest enemy and then detonate on contact and does damage. Yeah. And it's not just one-on-one. Like if the radius is big enough, anything that's in that will take damage. And there's been times I've wiped players just Mirage Shatter, just that what is it, 3-4 combo. Mm-hmm. And between that, her natural rate of fire, and then teams converging on the same thing. I mean, that thing is just a game changer.
Now, if I had to put something in the dislike column, I feel like a lot of what the gaming is now is because that it is these like stacked 5 abilities that you have. I feel like it's now just like alternating like, and this is a lot of games. It's just going to be alternating your buttons that you're pretty much just going to like wait for one to refresh, hit the other one, wait for one to refresh, hit the other one.
Just those combos that
after a while it does get a bit tedious.
Yeah, because you know what you're looking for. You're like, oh, if I hit you with this, it reloads this a little faster. I just shot that, so I'm gonna hit you with this, and then this.
Pretty much, it's just like you've just got one character out there that's in a good rotation. Yeah, and then it's like fucking up the other team.
Your rotation in this game is ridiculous. You're like, if you hit the battlefield and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have thrown out my shield first. That'll mess up your push. Yeah. You gotta retreat. You gotta go. Okay, cool. I need all 4 of my buttons back.
Now, spinning off of that, when you retreat, I love the fact that you have that countdown timer.
Oh, it tells you when you're going to start pulling health back.
Exactly.
That is a great thing tactically, because now you know exactly what second you have to like push or pull.
But at the same time, it's not one of those where you're only going to gain health if you stand in one place long enough. As long as that countdown timer is counting down and you're outside of combat, you're going to heal. So like you can still run and jump and dodge, and I love that.
Also keep in mind, players, that if you have a certain ability that's not necessarily offensive, it's going to refresh that timer.
Yeah.
So if you have something that's going to like put your shield up, or if you have something that's going to like switch out a call out for a player, it's going to refresh it, because that is combat incentive.
Yeah.
Everything that you do is either, whether it be support, whether it be direct fire, is going to aid you in that aspect.
Yeah. I'd have to say, on the perk side, not necessarily for me, and not necessarily for you guys, but I know that other players will appreciate it, is when you go into your options, there's a key binding tab. You can not only completely reconfigure how your controller operates in-game, and you can do it per character or all out. But playing with it, for those of you that don't know, the PS4 does support a keyboard and mouse, because it's like the internet browser.
It does.
Paladins allows you to plug in a keyboard and mouse and completely reconfigure the keys.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a top-end PC to play on, you can do the exact same thing on your console, and you have the same thing. You have the same DPIs. Like if your mouse has like a 3500 DPI, it carries to the game. It's not based on, my controller only has this, dots per inch.
Yeah.
So my mouse is automatically going to have like whatever your mouse has is what is going to carry to the game, which I think not only is it practically unheard of, but a key binding to that extent really does a hell of a job on closing that gap between console versus PC players.
Yeah, and just like you said, closing the gap on that so many players now that we're all growing up together, now that we all have our own money, it's not very uncommon for people to have multiple consoles.
Oh, yeah.
Playing, like multiple type of things. Like when I was a lot younger, I started off on PlayStation. Now I'm running Xbox. Next thing you know, I'm just going to be doing PC later. I have plenty of friends that like to do Xbox and PlayStation just because they like certain games for certain things.
Yeah.
And to be able to configure your player to your specific liking on whatever it is you're playing on is very important to be able to have a routine going.
Well, not only that, you have players, like if I'm a PC gamer, but all of my friends play on the PS4, it's just that natural incentive, like I want to play with everybody that I know. And if there's a game that allows me to play the way I'm comfortable, which is on PC, why the hell not would I go out and spend, $200, $300, $400 if it lets me play on this console that is typically played with on a controller, where I can play like I'm playing on a PC. I get to play with my friends, I get the chat aspect, I get the networking, the games, all that stuff.
Man, someone drops a PvP server that works through PSN and Xbox Live, they're rich.
That would be
It's a money thing, though.
Yeah, that's all it is, because Sony doesn't want to help Microsoft. And Microsoft is killing the game right now. Like, I hate Microsoft, but the fact that you can play all their games on PC, the fact that you can play cross-platform PC to Xbox natively, is like ridiculous.
It is, but that's because Windows 10 has the Xbox One emulator programmed into it natively, smartest thing to.
I'm pretty sure the Xbox is just running off a Linux Windows system anyway. Let's just be real, right? Let's just be real.
Yeah, but the fact that they thought ahead enough to put something like that in place, not only can you play remotely as long as you have the internet connection stable enough, but if I'm just rocking my PC or my laptop that has Windows 10,
play the exact same game you have.
Yeah, and I just happen to have my controller and my game. I don't know why I would have that on my console, but let's not go there. And I throw it in, to my laptop.
It'll play it.
Yeah,
It's just.
It was smart. It really was. But smarter than
Stop taking my money, guys. That's why I'm trying to play Paladins. But even then, I'm like, okay, do I have to give you guys $5 for this character? No.
But, like, I mean, so I just got the game a couple days ago. I'm sure there's going to be 10,000 things I'm going to like in the future. I'm sure there's going to be 10,000 things I'm not going to like.
Yeah, let's talk about what we don't like. Is that what you're about to say?
Yeah, I'm definitely... we are just riding this game hard.
No,
If we really want to be critical about the game, we said we were only going to bring it up once.
I knew it was coming.
There it is.
Coming.
There it is. Go ahead.
He was just waiting for his intro into the stage.
There you go.
Has anybody here ever played Overwatch? You know, before the show, we had a discussion that we were only going to bring it up once.
Once, and it was at the very end, and I like that. I appreciate that because we had mentioned it earlier, we would have been done. But yeah,
back to it. Please do not think that we're going to try to compare this game so directly to that aspect. We really want to try to draw the line between what is free to play and what people are going to drop hard money on. Overwatch, I'm not going to take anything away from the game. Obviously, it has become a very cultural phenomenon.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be similarities. There's going to be similarities between a lot of games that you really want to draw these parallels
and
on.
I mean, realistically, you know, Paladins and Overwatch are really phenomenal games in their own right.
Overwatch came out first, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Overwatch came out. It's released by Blizzard and hit the ground running. It was released at the same time. I think it was released a week after Battleborn was released. Which
I remember Battleborn. Those were the
fucking,
two, right?
Yeah.
Those were the two that were hot. Overwatch won in the long run.
Oh, not even the long run. I mean, Battleborn dropped, and it was so buggy when
Weren't
it
there
first
like
came
little
out.
Easter eggs throughout like Overwatch that like kind of like talked about something like that? That's something else that Blizzard had done?
They threw like a little event
Yeah.
that had it and then like quickly got rid of it.
Okay.
But yeah, Battleborn came out first. A week later, Overwatch came. Or I'm sorry, 2 weeks later, Overwatch came out. And as soon as it hit the ground, I mean, it was just running at full speed. Blizzard hit just a phenomenal gold mine with that game.
Yeah.
And they still are. You know, it has.
Dudes are still dropping hard money on it. People are still...
Okay, I think that where Blizzard just did everything right is, one, spending real money is only on cosmetics.
Yeah.
Just like in Paladins. If you're willing to spend money, the only thing technically that could be a game changer for you is a character.
Yeah.
Everything else you spend money on is just going to be cosmetic. It is not going to affect your skill level in the game.
That is an aspect of gaming that I'm appreciating more and more. Now that we're getting into this like realm of Battle Royale coming out, players are soon finding out that gaming is now like a very personal responsibility in your skill set. That gone are going to be the days that you could just grind all day and all night.
Well, yeah,
and
because
just start being better than people.
Yeah, but
it's not. We don't think it's fair anymore. Now, don't get me wrong. This game definitely does reward you for putting in time and effort.
Oh, absolutely.
And I really do like that. But you can only ever get so good. You can only ever be so bad.
Yeah, but even still, if you're going to go out and spend $20 on, a Microsoft or Sony card, it's only going to get you cosmetic items.
Yeah.
Now, granted, there are weapons in Paladins that do give you like a damage buff, an XP buff, but in order to obtain that weapon, you have to grind with said character all the way up to level 50, in which case that weapon becomes available for you to purchase with in-game money.
Yeah.
But
So
that's
you're still not even buying it technically.
exactly.
You're buying the possibility of it.
Exactly. But still, to level 50, that's a lot of grinding.
That's like a loot box, man. I don't like. That's one of the reasons that turned me off on Advanced Warfare.
You know, some countries got rid of the loot boxes.
Yeah, that's my thing.
Oh, yeah.
Advanced Warfare. I hated that. I hated that with a passion. I hate the fact that me and this other guy, who my KD is 1.247, his KD is 1.387, is really good. We both turn around the corner at the same time. We both shoot at the same time, but I lose because we're using the exact same gun, but his gun has a readiness feature, so his gun comes up 10% faster, and the bullet comes out 3% faster.
Yeah.
So even though we have the same gun, I lost because his gun had an extra additive to it. That's something I hated.
And that's the thing. Like the first time I was ever introduced to pay to win, or as me and a bunch of my friends used to call it, wallet warriors. Is in MMOs.
You guys are like World of Warcraft.
Exactly.
If you have fat
games
stack,
like that.
expect to go.
Yeah, games like that where, if you started hitting the ground at level 1, You know, you did your tutorial, you ended at level 5, you know, typically your average range.
Yeah.
And then you were to go in and drop $150. Boom, you had the same equipment as a level 99, whatever in the fuck you were playing.
Yeah.
Even though you were only level 5 or 6.
And some of us are very much traditionalists that we like to feel the sensation of earning something.
Exactly.
In this world.
And it's, you know, Call of Duty has gotten tons
yeah.
and tons. And
Back when MW2 was about, if you met somebody on the field and you just got sprayed up by like a stone or whatever, and they was gold plated and they prestige several times, look, man, you just got beat by somebody that just put in way more time and effort.
Master Prestige, man. You see those golden numbers, you're like,
same with Modern Warfare 3.
Sorry, like
Now, when Black Ops started to hit the field,
you had people.
that's
that were
when Wallet Warriors started showing up.
You had people that were multi-plat that you just weren't exactly quite sure how they
so
did it.
okay. So I remember, since I kind of want to get back to Paladins real quick. Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, Paladins isn't the first game to kind of mimic this Overwatch thing, right? You guys remember Lawbreakers?
So the concepts behind these games have been pre-existing, where you have, you know, payload like moving or area controlling. Team deathmatch has been around since as long as first-person shooters.
Yeah, but the payload movement, the first one that I'm aware of, to really like bring that kind of play mode to light was Overwatch. Like that was one of their premier modes. Like you had to go in,
Every
capture
character had their
point.
own way of saying, we got to move the payload.
Yeah, but you had to like that was the
Yeah.
one of 2 game modes because you either had TDM or you had payload.
Yeah.
You know, and you had to go in, capture the point, and then basically escort this payload. Now, if you got team wiped, if the enemy got close enough, that payload started moving backwards, same like it does in Paladins. But
see, that's my issue, right? Like the games are just, they're kind of spin-offs on different. It's like FGC, right? Like if I'm playing most of the fighting games I played, they're 2D. That's because that's what I like. So I understand that this 2D game, I understand hitbox, I understand hurtbox, I understand collision boxes, all that stuff, and all those things transfer from the same game, right? Just like, sorry again, Overwatch and Paladins, right? The reason I keep trying to bring up, what is it called? I had it written down. Lawbreakers. Okay, Lawbreakers came out right after Overwatch did, and it was around. It was the third game between Paladins and Overwatch. And there was Lawbreakers, and in Lawbreakers, everyone had an ability to control a different scientific field. So there was a guy who could control gravity, this person could control water, this person could control lightning, and those are all your powers. But the thing ended up getting really crazy early on because people were figuring out, oh, I have a lightning guy, right? And stupidest thing, it's raining, right? And you have a lightning guy. And people were like, oh, I shoot the lightning and it hits everyone because it's fucking raining outside.
Yeah, and
you're kind of like, okay, but how do you stop that? So the game ended up being because it was about weather. That's what it was. So like, oh, this match is raining? Okay, cool. And the weather would rapidly change. So because they had to change your character's powers to match with the map as you're fighting. So it was like Paladins and Overwatch, but it had this whole other layer of fight on it because your character, like, there's this guy who could use lightning and fire, right? So when it was raining, I'm outside, I'm shooting people because it was really easy to hit people because everything's wet.
Yeah, because it would arc.
Right, but then we're fighting in the jungle, and I'm like, cool, the lightning's not really as strong, so I'm just burning the ground to get shit out of my way so I can see better. So it just gave this whole nother aspect that I feel like these other games with this payload and moving.
I think more and more games are now becoming like Frankensteins of certain things that a lot of things did very well.
Yeah.
Now the aspect of weather or like changing environment, it's not very new.
No, that's not.
You understand.
Yeah, but
to take it with payload, to take it with powers, to take it and put these things in conjunction with each other definitely does make a very new type of thing.
Yeah.
Now you can always draw these parallels and say so and so is very reminiscent of this, but you kind of have to judge this game solely on its own.
It's
merit.
really hard, man, because it's like saying if you get okay, So you're telling me that if you get a platforming type game where there's 4 people who have to knock each other off a ledge, you're not going to compare it to Super Smash Brothers?
I definitely would. I definitely would.
That's what I'm
but
saying.
you kind of have to bring objectivity back into it, because like that's kind of like saying like, oh, I get this first person shooter. I'm always going to compare a first person shooter
To Doom or
I'm always going to compare it to Call of Duty. I'm always going to compare it to Battlefield.
That's true. That's true.
None of these things are doing anything super
You have to-
super original. You have to
judge
separate
it for
yourself
what
from
it is.
Yeah, and I mean, focus on what that game does and why it does it
if
either
this game
better
isn't
or
the
worse.
biggest evidence of that, I don't know what is. That you obviously have a very similar game, but you also need to focus on the thing that is doing differently.
Yeah.
You have different types of characters, and they're a little bit similar. Some of them are, but
Shields and...
yeah, and it's a different game. Things are a little bit different. You've got stuff in the actual gameplay that is different. So things like
the card
purchases,
features,
like stuff like that.
The card feature, I fucking love that aspect.
I usually leave all mine at 5. I just leave them really even because I don't really mess with them a lot. But like,
So
to John's knowledge, he was like, "Yo, just try to move one," and then I was like, "All right." And I put my health all the way up on one of my.
It makes a
assets,
difference.
And nobody was killing me for like. I think I went like 21. Like,
Yeah.
I think just like my whole spiel about like drawing parallels and stuff like that is like, I just don't want anybody out there listening to think that we're gonna try to sell you one game over the other. This game specifically, I feel like I overall enjoyed it. Like,
No, yeah, it's worth a download.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Scale it down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so 1 to 10. What's your opinion on the game? 1 to 10 downloadability. You download it 1 to 10. 10 being you absolutely need to download it right now on your phone. Stop listening to the podcast or your PlayStation.
The funny thing is that they did actually mirror release a Paladins game on iOS and Android.
It's
called Paladin Strike, and it's the camera style is very reminiscent of like League of Legends, where it's a very high third person. But
I heard the gameplay is exactly the same though. It's like
it does, but it doesn't. Like the characters have all the abilities that their console counterpart has. The aiming and firing is a little wonky at first, but once you get used to it, it's a ton of fun. And they've even thrown incentives so that like if you download Paladin Strike on your mobile device and you sign in with your high-res account, they give you bonuses both on the mobile game and on your console.
Kind of like Battlefront and like the sister app on the phone came out. That you could start getting credits and they reimburse you.
Exactly.
Nice.
Just like Injustice.
Injustice mobile.
Yeah. I'd say from 1 to 10, this would be a very, very solid 8 or 9. I love the design. I love the look, the feel, the operation, just the game as a whole. And
what about the online play? What do you think about the online play?
Oh, phenomenal! I've never
complaint when it comes to online play, and count me at fault if you do it. I feel like I'm running people over right now. And I don't consider myself that good at video games.
That's true, but you have to keep in mind that you're coming from a game. We all know what game that is.
We're not going to say it.
You're coming from a game that is incredibly unforgiving.
It is, man. You're playing like Rainbows. No, I would never touch that. I would never touch that game. That or like Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. That's the type of like when the gamer telling me that's the type of game I'm thinking about. And I remember playing Splinter Cell on PS1 and getting reamed like 3 levels in. Because
games
is hard.
Because games like that, and I've played games like that, and I enjoy games like that. But it's one of those things like when you're playing that game, you can only play that game because the specific mindset that you have to play it is very focused.
You are absolutely right.
It
is so hard to break myself.
Yeah, and you're going from that mindset, that gameplay style, that mentality, to something that is much more lighthearted, much more forgiving in some aspects.
And you can just kind of mess around, like you don't have to aim exactly. It'll just kind
and you're just steamrolling people.
Yeah, because you're used to playing at 100% accuracy, and in Paladins you can play at 30%, and the game will kind of help you the rest.
It's still a lot of fun to play.
And your 30% because you've been playing that hard game is like other people, like somebody just buying the game, you're gonna demolish.
Yeah. It's like somebody else's like 60 or 80%.
Yeah, you're gonna demolish.
It's
because you have the
like I said, a very, very solid 8 or 9.
8 or 9.
I love the look, the feel. I love all the little mechanics that they've put in. Since its official release, like I said, on May 8th of this year, 2018, they've got a really solid character roster. You know, their roles are very well defined. I think that there are some balancing issues, but like any game,
That'll happen over time.
yeah, you know, like any game, time is what's going to alleviate that kind of stress. And the only reason I didn't give it like a 9 or 10 is the few things that I find disagreeable are easy to live with.
Yeah.
You know,
Once again, I will make a lot of excuses for a game. Now, all in all, game's fun. I definitely play it over and over again. It's free.
It's free.
Let's be
So-
real about it.
It's free.
The few nitpicky things that I'm like,
You have internet, you
poking
got
the stick
storage,
at.
you're good.
yeah,
Like,
and
I
it's
know-
not even that big.
I'm
It's only
poking a
like
stick at
11
it.
gigs, I think.
Oh yeah, I downloaded it
What?
in a
Marvel
couple minutes.
Infinite was 35. Damn it, Marvel. Damn it, Disney. Sorry.
Disney,
Okay.
please forgive us.
So X,
I'm sorry.
what's your rating on this?
Yeah, you're
I feel like I'm gonna give it-
1, either burn your console because of the thought, or 10,
You
it's
have
a
to
must
buy
have
this
right now, and
you're
why?
you're gonna get the season pass tomorrow type stuff. Yeah, like,
I definitely call it 7 or an 8.
I was like 7.
Okay.
7.
Yeah, I will definitely give it a 7 just for the nitpicky things that I was going to say. Like,
Real quick. Is that your non-biased opinion, or is that the Rainbow Siege? Is that mine telling
that
us
is my non-biased
Okay,
opinion,
okay,
and
okay.
also maybe a little bias included because I needed
God
a
damn
break
it.
from getting my shit stuck.
Okay. Okay.
But
Getting that flash shield to the face.
oh my god, it's embarrassing. That debate's gonna happen entirely.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
But all in all, I think that anybody that likes something free and has time to spend on something, go for it. You know, you play it a couple rounds. It's very, very laid back, fun time. You're not going to throw your controller at the TV over this.
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
That's a big thing for me because I can't keep going through controllers.
Or TVs.
There's more likes in the column than dislikes.
Absolutely.
My few dislikes have to do with things like every once in a while you're going to get a matchmaking error, in my opinion, where I feel like some dude out here just wallet warriored me because he is stomping through me and I don't even have a chance to live with it. But other times, you know, I feel like I might be doing the same thing to other people. So
Yeah.
it's a balancing act.
But yeah, see, that's the thing that we were saying is character balancing.
Yeah.
You know, because like Ruckus, I think that right now, the point at which the game stands, I believe that Ruckus is more on the OP side of the ladder than the neutral side.
High
because-
tier?
I
Very
definitely
much
see
so.
it. So on matches where we do very well at, even if I'm not playing Ruckus, he has a high pick rate.
Oh yeah.
I see him every single match.
Oh, yeah.
Usually he's on the winning side.
neck.
Because
Yeah.
well, not only that. I mean,
High pick
he's
rate, high
got
win rate.
he's got
High
an
rate of fire.
insane rate of fire. You know, once those guns like finish spinning up and you actually start
Takes
spitting.
what, 3 seconds to spin up. And
Something like that,
You've
and-
got 200 rounds to play
Yeah,
with.
and I mean,
That's
he-
what?
75% speed decrease though, right? Once you
Yeah,
start firing.
Yeah. But still, the fact that you can still move.
We're looking at,
with
like,
a rate of fire
15
that's
to 20
that
seconds
high.
of raw ammo. Like, you're just putting it out.
Yeah,
like that.
I've seen
You know,
man, it's
plus he has
crazy.
a shield, and plus he has a shit ton of health. I know that anytime I'm playing,
A
if-
big, nasty
I never
tank.
kill him. I sit there and I'm like,
He is a big tank.
damn.
see, and it's like the characters that I play, it's gotten to the point where if I'm going against a Ruckus,
need to
like
find a way.
there's a very specific way that I have to play if I see a Ruckus on the opposite team, because that's the only way I have a
You
chance
have
of
to
taking them
flame
down.
Ruckus from behind. That's the only way to
Exactly.
fight the character. That's
Because,
really it.
yeah.
At this point, because if you're in
Well,
front of him, you're dead.
It's,
Oh, yeah.
It's like you said when you gave your rating. It's a new game. It's got a lot of time to, mix things up.
Yeah.
So for being this early of a game, if you don't have it, try it out. If you don't like it, you didn't lose anything but time.
It's true.
What do you got?
All right. So what about you, Jay?
Oh man, okay, 1 out of 10.
I know that one beer has you a little fuzzy, but
Not anymore. Not anymore. 1 out of 10. I play fighting games mostly. I do like a little first-person shooter here and there. Play some Grand Theft Auto, yada yada. I would have to say an 8. I'm gonna give it an 8.
I think 8's our final score here.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking it is.
Yeah.
It's not the reason it's not a 10. The reason it's not a 10 is just because The gameplay is very
It
very repetitive.
It doesn't have Siege in the title.
Tom Clancy didn't make it out of points.
Oh man,
Paladin
it's just,
Siege.
man, they were
You
right.
better
It's
be
just
careful. They might actually.
I
take
know,
Yeah,
right?
right?
They're going.
New game mode.
But
Oh,
yeah,
Oh, I know everyone's doing battle royale, and they're gonna add a battle royale in the Call of Duty now.
please.
Well, okay.
How many people
okay.
on Call of Duty? Like
Okay.
hardcore, I do that though. That would be over in 5 minutes.
Like I was telling him.
There's monsters
There's-
out there in Call of Duty land.
Oh yeah, there's news circulating. I have no confirmation of this. I've heard it from a few sources, but still,
Don't sue us.
But still, like I cannot say that it is confirmed. But apparently,
Word on
they're
street.
talking about
getting
just
rid of, campaign.
getting rid of the campaign
Oh yeah, no, I read that.
altogether, and only having
It's only multiplayer.
zombies,
and
multiplayer.
Shit, that makes money.
Yeah, that, and then a battle royale mode, and
Also
that's
heard-
it.
I also heard they were bringing back the Soldier Boy dance. I don't know.
Shit.
You, hey, what's up, Soldier? Don't sue us either,
but,
man. 'Cause I know you're still making money off that.
But while you need to do what's going to make your company money, and for a company like EA or anybody, they have these flagship titles like Call of Duty that is just hand over fist.
Yeah, well, Call of Duty is owned by two companies now, right? Infinity War
Yeah.
and Activision. They're
Yes.
both making their own variations of the game, right?
Yeah.
So this
But-
next one
but-
is supposed
but
to be
they-
made by both of them again,
I think so
like
because
Black Ops 1.
well, I know that for a while they were alternating. Like one would make one and then they'd leapfrog and the other one.
And Activision was making Black Ops, and Infinity
personal
War was
belief-
making the
Something like that,
futuristic
yeah.
stuff.
My personal belief, I think that it is long overdue to take a break.
From Call of Duty, give me 5 years without a Call of Duty title.
Now, I definitely will talk about this one for a lot in the future. Fallout is probably one of the best games I've
I
played.
never
Yeah.
played it, man. People keep
It's
telling me it's
okay.
like,
It
The
is
only
the true
one.
definition of art over repetition.
Yeah.
It gives you... Yeah.
The only before I played 4, which he actually convinced me to play. The only other Fallout that I had played was 3, and I only played about 45 minutes of it because
Now, Fallout 3 in the Fallout series is very unforgiving. You will die quickly.
No,
You will die.
it wasn't that. I had no problem with the difficulty, and I loved the game. I mean, for being on a PS3, the game was mind-blowingly beautiful. But what stopped me dead in my tracks from playing it was I'm in here and I'm killing these mobs, and I'm going through and I'm exploring and picking up shit and drop-kicking everything else I can find, and then the game freezes. And not only does it freeze, but it corrupted my save data. And instantly got in my
Put a bad
car,
taste in
took
your
it back.
oh yeah.
But, you talked me into playing 4 just because of how highly you spoke of it. I think it was on like a Friday, I went out to buy it.
Yeah.
And I couldn't put it down for like the next 3 or 4 weeks. Like, I mean, just graphically, it was untouchable.
Yeah. Great
Even
looking
for
game.
being as old as it is. The story was not
Lots
only
of twists and turns.
well,
Very well written.
very well written, but the fact that it was also multifaceted on all these other possibilities and factions that fed into the entirety of the main story to give you more background. I mean, it was just
And Bethesda, if you're listening, I would like to voice a character in the next Fallout.
Ooh.
get at him.
I don't.
Yeah, for anybody that has, I think right now the Game of the Year edition is going for like $20-25.
Yeah, something like that. But it's
easy
also
buy.
coming out with a new mod, I believe, this year. Which
Yeah,
will
well,
be,
and so is Skyrim.
New Miami or something like that.
Yeah, so is
Oh,
Skyrim.
man, y'all now y'all are talking.
But anywho, so
like, wait, what?
Paladins, they are, again, I cannot confirm or deny this, but they are talking about having a battle royale mode. I want to say that I think it's called like Realm Battle Royale or something like that. I have seen nothing, heard nothing, read nothing on.
I could see that. Force a third person.
Honestly,
Yeah, because I usually like to go third person just because I'm tired
It's
of
a little
looking at
better.
this.
Yeah, no, I hate.
You get more view, more bang for your buck.
I like the fact that you can change it at will.
Yeah, that's a situation.
Now, what I will say, and personal preference, just because I'm a little sadistic when it comes to stuff like this, I want to see a mode, or at least a map, where it's just like this giant empty football field, and there's only like 6 to 8 pillars. Nothing massive, just round pillars, just a stop fire, and you just get in there and you just kick the ever-loving shit out of each other, 8 on 8.
You guys aren't gonna like me on that.
That's what I wanted.
That'd be fun, like a football mode.
Hell yeah!
That'd be kind of fun. You shoot.
Can we get a new Blitz the League?
Oh
Yes.
man, NFL Blitz, stop. NBA Street, stop.
No. NFL Blitz Pro.
Stop.
PlayStation 2.
Oh, we need to stop before we get into a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Oh, we got
Another
podcast
2 hour
over, I think, for the
discussion.
day.
But yeah, so our ending rating for Paladins is a solid 8.
Solid 8 around the
Solid
table?
8, yeah.
I would say
solid 8. Definitely worth the download. It doesn't take that long.
10
Great,
gigs.
great character selection, great gameplay, fast response times when it comes to not only the connectivity of matches but also the controls. Very well done. High res. My kudos to you. You hit your own gold mine on this one. I can see this game living for years.
Yeah.
Any and all game or
and the fact that it
entertainment
already
companies that we touched on, please do not think that we're trying to like downgrade what it is you're doing
Negative,
or even
that's
trying to
not at
sell
all.
what it is you're doing.
That's
We're
not at
just
all.
these are our comparisons that we wanted to touch on. That's how we just felt about certain things.
Yeah.
And we appreciate the games you guys make, for real.
Absolutely.
Because if it wasn't for you guys, I mean, we wouldn't even be doing this. So.
Yeah. Also, with Paladins, like I said, it just came out May 8th, and they already have a major spot in their own line of esports. I know that they just had a major tournament going on, and I want to say that they're streaming another one here, I think, in the next month or so. So, I mean, being this new out of the gate and already having, their a solid foot inside of esports.
I see good things on the horizon.
Yeah.
It's last time I'm going to say it. It's a cheaper alternative if you don't want to spend money on Overwatch. Now look.
And a lot friendlier, I think.
Oh god. Overwatch is so toxic.
Is it toxic?
It is toxic.
Okay.
Just because of how many people play it. It's
Not even, because the community is actually pretty friendly for Overwatch. At least the ones that I've dealt with.
I've had some bad experiences.
But I think that Paladins certainly has more to offer, as from a player's aspect, because Overwatch is get in, pick your character, go. Whereas Paladins is customize your loadout. Practice, learn your skills,
Get your in-match purchase going.
yeah,
Get
and go. So for the players that are just, I just want to jump in, run and gun, I think Overwatch is definitely going to be for you.
Yeah.
For the people that
Want to take a step back, customize your character.
yeah, and really play the way that they naturally feel comfortable playing,
Please download this game.
yeah, Paladins is definitely going to be the best way to go. But thank you guys for listening. Hopefully this hour and a half wasn't a total waste of your time. But like I said, we will be podcasting, I think that's the right term, weekly. We're going to try to put all these up every Friday. But, hit us up. I can be found at IronBusiness01 on Twitter. Jay?
13th Power on Twitter, yes. Poppin' Locker on PSN.
Xbox Brolic Blackskin. I use my Instagram, same name pretty often. Don't laugh at it.
But yeah, guys, that's our show. We appreciate you, sticking around with us, and we'll see you guys next week.